Okay, so welcome to the tonight's webinar, The Secret to Rent Success. So let's do a bit of housekeeping first, just to start off with. So before we start, a quick sound check. Most of you, I think, have already said you can actually hear, which is great. If you can't hear, the issue is going to be your end, not ours. Okay, so just double check. But certainly, by the looks of things, everybody can hear, which is cool. Visual check. So you should be able to see the slides changing now. So can you just put a note in the comments box? So you should see a slide in front of you. Just says before we start, sound check, visual check. Yep. Okay. Cool. So ask questions. The same box you're using to put the post comments in. If you, as we go along, if you ask questions, then we'll, if it's pertinent to certain points partway through the presentation, we'll answer them then. But in the main, we'll answer the questions at the end. Get rid of any distractions. Turn off your mobile or mute it. So if you've got family in the room, move to another room. Appreciate if you've got kids and families on, it's difficult sometimes, but if you can get rid of any distractions, that'd be great. Turn your radio, television off, whichever. And take notes. Going to be quite a lot of content this evening, and whilst obviously you're going to hear us and you can see on the slides, it's always much better also if you can take notes, because it's a very good way of retaining information. And as I said, there'll be a Q&A at the end, and there'll be a bonus as well, which we'll talk about towards the end as well.
Couple of bonuses.
Yep. And stay focused and enjoy. As I said, there's a lot of stuff here. Ask as many questions as you like. We will try and get as many of those answered before we close up at the end of the evening. We're targeting to finish around 9-ish. We may overrun depending on the number of questions, but just to give you a bit of expectation on the time. So, who is this webinar for? Well, firstly, it's for fast action takers who want to start or expand their portfolio. It's also for committed people who want to build a portfolio as well.
You're going to flick the slides, Mark, please.
Okay, hang on. Right. Thanks, mate. So, if you want to replace your job and need a step-by-step plan, and it's not for course junkies. If you're one of those ones that just listens to every single webinar going and does nothing, then you know you're wasting your time really. So don't just go and watch television or something. But yeah, if you're serious, then stay tuned. And it's not for those looking to get rich quick. There's no such thing as get rich quick in property. You can make money relatively quickly, but property is a get rich slow game. So if you're new to property, just a pointer that it's going to take a while to build up, but the wealth element will come. So why now? Well, famous quote from Warren Buffett: "Be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful." We are in unprecedented times. With the lockdown, lots of things have changed. The economy has changed. Everybody's outlook has changed. Our perceptions have changed. The property market, I don't think I've ever seen the property market in my lifetime come to a virtually complete standstill. So we've almost got like a perfect storm of things that are now starting to happen because lockdown is starting to be eased. And we're going to see a number of changes happening, not only in the economy, but in the property market, which is clearly what we're going to be talking about this evening. And it's being ready to take advantage of those things that hopefully tonight will show you. So we're going to go through 8 steps to help you succeed with rent to rent. What is rent to rent? Why now is the best time for many years to start a rent to rent business? How to find the best deals in today's market, and how to earn up to £1,000 per month from one property. In fact, we'll show you a few examples of those later on. how to give peace of mind to landlords. That'll become clearer from the presentation what we mean by that. How to revive dead deals and to show you potential earnings you could be doing within 3 months of starting, because it can be that quick. And how to add or start your portfolio with very little cash. There's no huge deposits or upfront capital. There's no mortgages with this particular strategy. So you can get started with relatively little cash. So the PMA team. We're going to do some introductions in a second, but essentially, you know, we're the founders, mentors, friends, over 18 years property and investing experience between us. Do you want to take over, Peter?
Yeah, please do. Let me introduce the team. So firstly, Jackie Reeves. Jackie can't be here this evening, but Jackie is the owner of a large UK property portfolio, mainly with Mark, co-owner of Max Property, which is a European-based investment fund and crowdfunding platform, and also the co-founder of Property Master Academy. And Mark, Jackie, myself, and Justin, we all offer something different. That's why we gel. That's why we get on so well. And that's why we offer unbeatable levels of education and serving property investors. Jackie is by far and away the best coach. She's an outstanding one-to-one and team coach. She's on everyone's level emotionally, and she can push people through barriers they never thought they could get through. And she can also be a good shoulder to cry and a great listener. But she's definitely our best coach. And then you, old boy, Mark. Yeah, Mark's quite aggressive in his approach to property investing, which is good. Again, he's offers something completely different to the rest of the team. He's joint owner of a large portfolio with Jackie. He's actually the CEO of Max Property, the crowdfunding platform, European crowdfunding platform, a co-founder of Property Master Academy. And yeah, Mark is one of the most inspirational people I've met in terms of his approach to investing and coaching and mentoring. He makes you accountable. He takes no shit, apart from me. He lets me give him shit, but no one else. And he would get you by the hand and he would take you straight over the finish line, whether you want to or not. He's a specialist in everything mentoring, true entrepreneur. And yeah, he loves helping investors reach their limits and financial freedom as quickly as possible. So again, Mark and Jackie are very, very different. And then you throw me into the equation, the young, handsome one. I think it's important in a team to have a young, handsome one. Hence why I'm here. I've been in property 22 years. I took an estate agency from 10 to 125 people. HMO is my niche. Luxury HMOs is a real niche. Property expert. I now have 6 property companies. I'm CEO of HMO on Steroids, HMO Premier, Refurb and Develop, sell for free today in the Heritage Investment Group. A partner with Mark and Jackie of Property Master Academy, and again, a specialist in everything entrepreneurial, mentoring, property, helping as many people as I can through financial freedom. Funnily enough, I remember when I first started investing in rent-to-rents myself, about 2009, I think it was. After the crash, I looked for a new strategy. I think we got to 19 rent-to-rents in and around Reading and Berkshire, and I thought my nuts were pretty big, and I was quite happy because we were getting about 19 grand profit a month. And then I looked across at Milton Keynes, my friend Justin, and looked at what Justin was doing, and I mean he was taking it to a whole new level. I mean, we're talking 65 to 70 properties, 3 to 350 rooms, and he just took rent-to-rent to a level that no other investor, mentor or coach has ever done. And we've been good friends, and I've followed and had the pleasure of working and watching Justin and what he's achieved over the years. He's sold an estate agency. He's an entrepreneur, investor, a speaker. He's been doing rent-to-rent more successfully than anyone else in the UK. He's taught more investors how to do rent to rent more successfully than anyone else in the UK. And he's one of the nicest and most inspirational entrepreneurs I've ever met in property. So yeah, I've got with great pleasure to introduce my friend and one of the best people I know in property, Justin. Over to you, mate.
Well, that was a well done. That was a great introduction.
Yeah.
I've not had that
It was
before.
easy, mate.
I've gone all red, mate. Look at that. Hi guys, great to see you all, or hear you, or listen to me, whatever it is. And do apologise for the dress. I wasn't really expecting a video. When Mark said let's do a video, a webinar, I was expecting it just to be here. So you've caught me how I am on a day to day. And if any of you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll actually see that I've hired a digger. And I've been playing around on the digger all day in the garden. So that's not just something I'm actually using it. But when the digger turned up and I saw it, I was just like, no, I'm having that. That's my job. So yeah, so great thing. So yeah, I think that Peter's hit it on the head about me, what I do, and probably made me sound a lot better than what I am. But I just am what I am. I'm just a hardworking, normal guy that's come from, you know, not a poor family, but it wasn't a particularly privileged family. I'm dyslexic. If any of you guys are dyslexic, let us know in the message box, because I am, you know, really dyslexic. But I, you know, some people, you know, coming through school, I would say that was a curse, but actually it taught me. When you're dyslexic, you actually understand how to solve problems, and the reason being because when you're asked to do something, you create a solution, or there's a problem, obviously that's there, so you create a solution to try and get out of it. So I actually use my dyslexia. I say it's a gift now, because actually I don't actually believe that I would be where I am today had it not have been for my dyslexia, because it put me all through sorts of periods of life, which ended up me going in the armed forces, which then channeled my dyslexia into structure and how to push it forward. And from that sort of time onwards, it's been just another level. And I want to pick on something that Mark said. We're coming through some pretty weird times at the moment, and why this is a great time for you guys to get into rent to rent, I believe, and so Mark and Peter also do, is because actually when I first started my rent to rent company, it was in the middle of a recession. And because of the opportunities it created, it made my life that much easier to get properties, that hopefully we'll talk about further on in the slides. So it's a great time to be on this webinar today. Really apologise that we're dressed, but it is lockdown. We're coming out of it now, but excuse me, normally I'm a lot smarter than this. I'm not the jackets like Peter, but I do dress smart sometimes. I'm not always like this. So, Mark, do I have
I did dress down, Justin. I did dress down, mate, so I could make you feel a bit more comfortable.
I was in the cap, didn't I? Yeah. So, Mark, do I have controls?
Yeah, you should have the mouse, yeah.
I should have the mouse.
Just while Justin's doing that, I just want to support something he just said. I got into rent to rent in 2009 as well. And I think the best time to get into rent to rent since then is now, because we're going through some unusual times in the property market, and there are going to be people that can't sell that would consider subletting. And there's going to be other people where they've had their property on the market for 3 months and they just want to start getting some money in. So for me, it's going to be probably the best time for rent to rent we've seen since 2009.
One of the things that actually I want to add to that point, guys, and this is something I'm actually really proud of, and for those that know me on Facebook and have followed me and stuff like that, you know it's something that I don't particularly brag about, but I don't teach that many people. These guys have persuaded me to come out of retirement for the training industry, because the reason why I stopped training was because I was fed up of people not taking action. I was fed up of people not actually doing what they was told to do. So I could see all these different people doing courses and actually people doing nothing with the education. I pride myself on the results that I get, and I can hand on heart say actually my training is created for rent to rent businesses probably some of the most six-figure businesses out of all the training programs in the thing. And that's purely because of the way I structure how I teach people. And that's something that I really pride myself in. It's no bullshit. I just tell it exactly how it is, whether you like it, whether you don't. So yeah, so expect to be told what to do. So Mark, this isn't, I don't think it is working as in, can't do the slides, mate.
If you click on
That
them,
did happen last time, Mark. You might just have to go through and do it, buddy.
if you click the mouse, just click the slide, mate.
There we
Okay.
go. And again.
Actually, no, let me see if I can do it. No, it's not doing it, mate.
There we go.
Is that, can we just go back one, just so, like, that's it, just so I can see where we are. Go back one, mate.
Back one.
Yeah, what are you seeing at the bottom there? Let me see if I can do that. Don't touch anything. No, I can't touch it, mate. It's you. Okay, no worries. Let's go. So, okay. Can you click it? Right. So guys, hopefully this will be you when you realise actually what Rent can do for you. Rent to Rent, what can it do? It can build you a portfolio of properties that Peter might call them the same. I actually call my HMOs the cash point machines, the ATM machines, because if set right and working right and managed right, and you do everything in the right way, they will create you 24/7 cash machines. And Rent to Rent is a great way of not only building a portfolio of properties, but it's also a really, really good way of actually understanding the strategy, which you then, like what I have gone on to build, and Peter as well, have gone on to build a portfolio of HMOs that we actually own. Now, would I have done that to the degree of what I had it not been Rent to Rent? No, I probably wouldn't have, because I may have been too nervous about how it would have worked. But by controlling something I don't own, I have something that I can just give back if it doesn't work. So it's a great training platform, as well as earn me money. One of the other things, guys, that I want to say about building a Rent to Rent portfolio, you will get some neckheads that will say, oh yeah, but you're not building equity in the property. You're not building this, you're not building that, you're not building capital growth. Well, here's the thing. You are building a business, and you're building a rental business. And Peter will tell you, because he is in the same industry as what I sold, a rental product, a rental business is worth a lot of money. So if you build a Rent to Rent portfolio in the right way, with the right contracts and the right structure, that portfolio, that business is worth a ton of money from something that you don't even own. And I want to make that very clear. This is something that all you're doing is controlling. So if we go to the next slide, please, Mark, that'd be great. Okay. So these are the, we see these pictures, and these are great. So if I'm just going to go through these pictures, because what I want to show you is personal to me. And what I want to show you is not what I've got, and this is not a show off. This is me showing you actually what Rent to Rent has done for me, from a boy that came from a council estate in Milton Keynes to where I am now. I do live in the house of my dreams, the house that I had on my vision board, the big sort of double-fronted house with the whole middle bit as glass and up from floor to ceiling, private driveway and gates and big gardens, etc. I live in that house now, and any of you can come round in the summer and have a barbecue with me. I don't mind, but I live in that house now. That is what Rent to Rent has done for me, and this is what it's done for the people that live around me. Well, one of my guilty pleasures is cars. I absolutely adore cars, and yes, Rent to Rent and my other investments put me in a position where a few years back I was able to purchase my dream car, which was the Lamborghini Huracan, and I was able to purchase that vehicle, and that was my dream car. So a car that I always wanted. If you go back, please, Mark. Yeah, trigger happy, mate. And that was a dream car that I was wanted. And we were just talking about this with Peter. I still have that passion for cars. That car is now gone because it's not particularly practical, but it was a dream that I needed to realize. It was a milestone that I had. When I hit X amount of money, I wanted to go and get this vehicle. And I have some great cars and some great fun, and I also collect watches. It also enables me and my wife here, you can see her next to me in Rolls Royce there. That was us going to some property awards where I was nominated and I did get awarded some bits and pieces. And that was us going on our journey to that. And that was, you know, just a nice occasion where we didn't have to go and get a normal taxi and things like this. For a special occasion, I got the Rolls Royce to come to the house and with a driver and take us down to the awards, which was great. And then we have to the top right is my family. That's all of us together. And I'm a true believer in life of not spoiling my kids, because I see plenty of kids around that are spoiled. And for me, it's not right. For me, it's not a nice thing to see. But what I do with my children is, rather than just buy them stuff, which I can afford to do, rather than just buy them stuff, just to shut them up, I would rather take them all over the world and create memories. So the picture that you see here, that was in Mexico, and that was a personal, so you had a place called Discovery Cove where you can go and meet the dolphins, but I actually hired the whole bit out. It was a personal thing just for us. And that was memories that my children will take away forever. And I like to get them to see all different cultures and meet all different people from everywhere in the world. So they are really well-minded and well-versed in every culture there is throughout the world. I really, really think that's important for my children, to embrace all cultures. And by doing that, it's creating memories. When their iPad or their new phone has been thrown away because it's the newest models come out, those memories are still in their head. And then we have on the left-hand side my young lad Finn. Now Finn is a great rugby player. He plays some great teams. He's got some great, you know, I'm not going to big him up too much, but just watch his space. You know, he's going to go places. And I am able to put all my time into him. I'm able to watch him, able to take him to training courses, etc. As a result of that, also my youngest daughter, Charlie May, she's also was selected for the GB tumbling team, which is a form of gymnastics, at just 10 years old. And that, again, is because of what I'm able to give my family. So that's what it's done for me and where I am today. And I just want to show you that, again, it's not me showing off, but what I want to show you is just what hard work can do for you. And like what Mark said, it is not a get rich quick scheme. You know, I'm a product of 20 years hard graft, and I want to make that very clear, guys. And I'm a product of 20 years hard graft. There is no get rich quick scheme out there. Yes, with the right mentors in place and the right training, you can fast track that. I never had mentors and I never had training, etc. I do now, but you can fast track that. But I'm a product. I'm a 20 years success. There you go. So I'm a 20-year success. So thanks for listening about me there, guys. So if we go on to the next slide, please, Mark.
Just while we're doing that, can I just make a point around what Justin said a moment ago about the myth about having to buy properties to make money, and give you a comparison? Let's say, for example, you've got £125,000 to invest, and that will buy you one HMO, and that one HMO will cash flow you £1,000 net profit a month. That's 12 grand net profit a year. If you took that 125 grand and you invested that, let's say on average 10 to 11 grand a rent to rent, you invested that 125 grand in 12 rent to rents, all cash flowing you £1,000 a month, then that's going to give you £144,000 income a year. So would you rather own one HMO and get 12 grand a year, or rent to rent 12 and get 144 grand a year? So, and that's what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. It's a really good point, mate. Yeah, it is what's possible. And you know, certainly one of the things I like to do with the money that I earn from the rent to rents and my rent to rent portfolio is to buy properties with it, because I want my fixed assets as well. Yeah, they don't earn me as much as the rent to rent portfolio, but it means that, you know, if in the future I want to sell that portfolio, I can sell that, and I still have my properties that I can then, you know, use as a pension or give to the kids or whatnot. So what is rent to rent? If we go back, please, mate. You love your mouse stuck today, don't you? So what is rent to rent? Well, it's when you rent a property from a landlord or estate agent. It's just a standard property, but there need to be some certain things about the property that we can use it as a HMO, a house of multiple occupation. Those houses are usually between 3 and 5 bedrooms plus. And why we say 3 bedrooms, you go, well, how can you get 3 bedrooms? Well, actually, if you get the right property working, and one of the things I like to sort of show people how to do is actually how to get a 3-bedroom working as sort of a minimo, if you get the figures right. If the figures are correct, you can get these properties to work smaller. However, also in a lot of these properties where it has 3 bedrooms, it also has 2 reception rooms, which we can also use, therefore making 5 rooms. We have to prepare it as a HMO, and obviously the new laws that are in place, you need to understand these laws with licensing and Article 4, etc., etc. You need to understand your area, but we basically prepare it as a HMO. And then what we do is we rent out each individual room, all inclusive of bills. Okay, so we take the property for X and then we let it out. We take all let all the rooms out, and then we take the difference. Next slide, please, bud. Okay, so what is rent to rent? Well, step 1, you rent the whole house. And this is diagram. I'm just going to use the simple thing of 4 bedrooms, but you basically create 4 to 5 bedrooms out of that property. And then you let out each bedroom at, let's say, £400 or £500 a month. So you can see the uplift that you can get. Next slide, please, mate. Okay, so here we go. So we've let 5 bedrooms out at £500 per month. So that in total brings us into, and these are just round figures, guys. They're not actual figures, they're just round figures. But so you've got each room at £500 per month. It gives you an income of £2,500. So we take out bills and council tax, etc., and we're going to call that for this purpose £500 a month, minus the rent to the landlord and for £1,000 a month. And then the profit that is left is £1,000. Now that profit doesn't have to be shared with anybody else other than yourself or your JV partners or whatever that may be. But ultimately, it's £1,000 a month going into your property, from just going into your bank account from just one property every single month, from something that you don't own and for something that you haven't put thousands and thousands of pounds into. Next slide, please, Mark. So let's give you an example of how I like to teach people to grow properties. Now, the system that I've created in growing businesses and property, specifically property businesses, I call it happy sad growth. So if I can find a bit of paper, I will try and demonstrate what happy and sad growth is. So happy and sad growth is, right. So in the diagram, and you'll understand what I'm going to say now. So in this diagram, you can see that we try to train people how to take on a property one every other month. And why do I say don't just go and get loads of properties on? Because ultimately it will burn your cash flow. It will destroy your cash flow. Unless you're very, very experienced, you know the market like the back of your hand. By taking multiple properties on in one hit, you're probably going to burn your bank account. So what I like to do is to grow a sustainable business that is not going to burn you out, it's not going to worry you, and it's going to build a great business over time. And that is where businesses last over time. So we create one property every other month. So month 1, go back please, Mark, mate.
That's you.
Stealing my thunder, Mark. Stealing it, man.
Leave your mouth alone, Justin, because it's you. I'm not touching anything.
I'll put it down to Mark's age.
Yeah. So you basically have one property every other month. So month 1, you take one property on £500 profit. And by the way, guys, what I'm showing you here is not the £1,000 a month per property profit. I'm going to show you the bare minimum of what I expect from you guys, which is £500. If you can't do £500 a month out of a property, then guys, I'm going to tell you now not to take that property on unless it's a different model than what I would show you. Unless you can hit £500 a month, I do not want you to touch property. So we have property 1 on 1 month, £500 a month. Great, that's £500 more than you had last month. Then we get that property. So this is where we go every other month, because then you need a month just to get that property ready, get it HMO ready, get it advertised, get it let out. That then brings you on to your next month. We take another property on. That gives you 2 properties. That's £1,000 a month. Again, going back, not £1,000 per property, but only 500. So that's £1,000 a month. And then so on, we proceed, continue the process. Month 5, £1,500. Month 7, £2,000. Month 9, 2.5. Month 3, 3,500. Now here we go, guys. What I want to show you is, oh, nearly chucked that off, what happy and sad growth is. Can we go back, please, Mark? So if we grow really, really fast, we create an arc. So if you can see my picture here, we create an arc from 1 to 10, 0 to 10, really, really fast, we create an arc. Now, if I put 2 little eyes above that, that is a very sad face. That is sad growth, guys. That's what we call sad growth. However, if we now grow that business, like I've just showed you, what we have is a lot of happy faces, because you are growing a sustainable business. Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? You're now growing a sustainable business because it's a business that can last. It's not a business that's going to burn and pop. That is growing and is going to last. Now, we've built this property, this portfolio over 12 months. Now let's have a look what just that £500 a month can do with just 6 properties. Next slide, please, Mark. Okay, so month 12, we're now on 6 properties and creating £3,000 a month. That's just 6 properties minimum in a year that I would expect from you guys. That's £36,000 a year, guys, on your bare minimum. So if you do what I tell you to do, at just £500 a month per property on 6 properties over the course of 12 months, at the end of the 12 months, you're going to be earning £36,000 a year. Now that, I'm probably guessing, and Mark might help me on this one, is probably £10,000 a year more than the average wage.
Yeah, just about. I think it is actually. I think the
Yeah,
average
it's probably £10,000 more than the average wage. And just put in that, I can't see the chat box here, but so Mark and Peter can see. If you guys can just put in there, you know, yes or no, that's all I want. Could you leave your job if you was then earning £36,000 a year? Could you, yes or no? Could you leave your job? Because if it's a yes, then guess what's going to happen? At the end of that year, when you are earning £36,000 awesome. a year, you're going to jack your job in, and then you are then become a full-time property investor, where then this will seem like an absolute doddle, and you will then push on to the next level, and there'll be different investments, but you'll be taking the whole game to another level once you're out of that job. Now, who could leave their job at £36,000 a year?
Most of them are put. I think what one no, but everybody else is yes, yes, yes.
Most of them, absolutely, absolutely. And
yes,
very
yes.
Mind, guys, you know, Peter would tell you, you know, most of my HMOs, the way they are run, you know, it takes me no more my business or the girl in the office, no more than 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 hours a week to actually maintain. The wages side of it is very, very different. But I'm talking at this level. Not the level that I am. Where I am now, I have a team of people that manage that, because it is a full-blown rental business. However, at this would probably take you no more than a couple of hours a week to maintain and look after just 6 houses. It's not I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's not, and I don't want to put that into your heads. But telling you now, you'll be working a fraction of the hours doing this than you will in your job for much more money, is what I'm guessing. And once you've left your job as a result of this, you then can really push on and push your investing to the next level.
Just to add to what Justin just said, I was one of these people. I loved my job. I loved what I did. So we had a portfolio of 19. I think it was bringing in on average around between 18 and 20 grand profit a month. And I still worked because I loved my job. So if you want to work and build a rent-to-rent portfolio, you can do that as well. And that just enabled me to have whatever holiday I wanted, whenever I wanted. It enabled me to buy 500 pairs of shoes. It enabled me to buy 1,000 jackets and just live the lifestyle I wanted to. So it can replace your income, and it can set you up, and it can help you leave your job. But if you enjoy your job, it can change your life and change your lifestyle as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. And what I've found is a lot of the people that I've gone on to teach have actually created this, and then in their time, because maybe they can't find any houses in their own area, they've gone into other areas and they've found rent-to-rent deals for other investors out of their area, and then sold those deals on for, you know, £3,000–4,000 a time, you know, for the right deal, which again, once you're doing this full time, you can do. Anyway, thanks, Mark. And next slide, please, bud. Okay, right. So why does rent-to-rent work, and why is it good for you guys? Well, like what Peter said, there is no need to invest £30,000 into property. You don't have to, you know. So if you guys only have a few £1,000s, and you are going to, there's no way I'm going to be able to get into property investing unless I'm able to get some money, get a loan, or find a JV investor or money. The great thing about rent-to-rent, it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to get into. Yes, it does cost money. There is no such thing as, you know, not being able to get into property with no money, unless you're very, very lucky. But it doesn't take a huge amounts of money to get into rent-to-rent. There's no need for these great big 30,000 plus deposits. You don't need it. There's no lengthy buying process. You could find a property tomorrow, and in theory, by the end of the week, you could be in that property, getting it ready to earn yourself some money. There's no stamp duty or solicitor's fees. You know, these are add-ons when you're buying. You know, like Peter was saying about, you could go and buy a property and actually earn the same, but you've spent 50, 60, 70, £100,000 on a property. And can we go back? And because of the amount of money that is involved to build it, you can scale it very well, very easily. So we can go from 1 property to 6 properties very easily in a year, which you might not be able to do if you're buying a property. Okay, so it's an easier process to scale as a business. Next slide, please, Mark. And hopefully you won't look as mad as that woman anyway when you get all excited. So how to find the ideal property in the right area. Okay, can you do slide please for us, mate? Okay, so one of the things you should be doing, you need to find out really who your target tenant is going to be. Now, each area has a combination of tenants. Each area has its own preference to tenants. For instance, where I live, my area here has a combination of blue-collar workers and white-collar workers. Now, what are they? Well, blue-collar workers are your manual workers, your roadmen, your guys on the working on the roads, the builders, the construction industry, the warehouse people. We have one of the largest distribution areas in the country, where Amazon place themselves here. And in the place where Amazon are, you've got John Lewis, you've got all the head offices there. There's 10,000 blue-collar workers in that area. So I know that actually most of those areas are from all over the world, and actually most of them are here just to send money back home or whatever. And they don't want a massive house. They don't want their own house. They just want a room. So I target those areas. So one of the things of how I identify an area is to look who's in that area. Are there universities? Right. Does that university, what is the percentage of people that rent rooms are from universities? So you do some checks. You have a look at how many rental properties. But this then could actually work in your favor. So some of the guys that I've taught have been in massive university areas, which to a degree is saturated. We've all seen that. And actually, student areas give houses, roads can give roads some bad names. So what I said to the guy was, well, okay, well, listen, when you're looking, look at the end of the take-in term when they take new tenants on, when they take new people, new students in, and look for those houses that are sitting empty, because what you generally find is that many of these student landlords are one-trick ponies. They're old school landlords, and they only know about students. They won't look at any other strategies within the HMO arena. And basically what happens is they sit empty, and they worry, and then they generally let it out as a whole unit. Now, these are the landlords you could go after in that type of area. Yeah, you could go after these landlords and say, look, you're feeling some pain now, let's take it away, and this is what we're going to do. But you don't go after the student area, you go after the blue collar workers or the professionals. Now, there will be a need for those, and the reason being because in student areas, all the HMOs are for students. So therefore, when that happens, there is not enough properties available for blue collar workers or for professionals because they don't want to share with students. So what you do is you find a property, a student property, you take it on, but then you completely turn it around. You get in there, you do a bit of work, and you turn it into either a professional or blue collar worker, and then you go after that market. And I'm telling you guys, it's a market that is absolutely booming if you can get it right. So that's what you do in university towns. Now, other towns where you have large employers, so I would be looking for large employers, industrial units and commercial units with good transport links. That would be another area that I would look at. Okay. Reason being is because as I said earlier, where I am in Milton Keynes, it is all industrial units, and therefore we've got a huge supply of room tenants from those warehouses. And generally what I find with the blue collar workers in the warehouses is my properties are to a degree very similar to forever letting cycle, because what happens is, let's say you're working in Amazon. Now you have big teams of people that are all sharing houses or new people coming in. And what we find is when one tenant moves out, we normally get a phone call from one of the other tenants within the property saying, oh, hi, Justin, or hi, Jackie, whoever, that's my girls in the office, or hi, we've got Dave, and Dave would like to, he's just come in, or he's in a house that he doesn't like with tenants that he doesn't like, but obviously he's part of our team. He would like to rent in your house. And you go, yeah, okay, let's do it. And you can get your tenants even to let the properties. It's, you know, it's great. It doesn't happen all the time, but when you're working in this arena, it's quite possible. And then obviously you need to look at leisure industry, entertainments, cafes, those sort of places, you know, like if you look at Birmingham, you've got the Bullring Arena, places like this. All those sort of areas will attract people that are looking for rooms. So next slide, please, Mark. Okay, so what are we doing? So now we've picked our area, we've understood, right, okay, we have some demand in our, or not demand, that's the wrong word, because we're going to do that now. What we need to understand is we have the area that we're looking for. We understand that there are potential clients or potential tenants of our type that we would want in that area. So then we start analysing the area and assessing, right, okay, how good is this area? So then we start using things and tools that we have available that are all free. You don't have to buy any of these, like spareroom.com and so on like this. And we start assessing who's in the area and what is the demand. So we look at supply versus demand. So for instance, if we have 100 houses and 50 people looking, that would probably suggest that that's not a great area to be in. It's 50, it's 2 to 1 in the wrong direction. However, if we then reverse that and we have 50 people, 100 people looking for 50 rooms available, that would give us a very good indication that we're going to be able to let the room. Now, you're also going to could get caught out with this, so I want to make sure that you don't. What I mean by this is make sure that you put your postcode in, because, for instance, if you put, I'm going to use Birmingham. If you put Birmingham in, Birmingham will bring up all the areas around Birmingham that are in the Birmingham postcode. Yeah. So if you put the postcode in for, let's say, Edgbaston or this area or that area, you will only be given figures for that area. Okay, you will only be given figures for that area, and it will give you a very clear indication of could this work in that area or not. You also need to assess some of the standards of rooms. Now, probably Peter, I don't know about you, mate, but it absolutely shocks me the quality of some of the landlords that I'm against, in how poor they how poor the conditions are, but not only that, the pride they have in their properties just makes my life easy. Really does.
I completely agree. I think the reason I got into HMOs and rents in the first place is because I could just see a massive gap in the market for good quality rooms, because the quality out there is appalling. We even put together a poster with pictures of our rooms and an incentive for people to call us. And I got my trainee to go to every other HMO in my area and put the poster through the letterbox. And the tenants in the other HMOs were calling us to move into ours.
Jeez. Yeah, what a great idea, mate! What a great idea! I've just written that one down. No, but exactly that. And here's the thing, Peter. You know, actually to get that, you know, you have the ability to have all the addresses for HMOs that you can wander around. So assess the rooms, assess who your target is, your target market is, but assess who you're against, and you'll be surprised that actually when you start advertising, and you know, you see some of my rooms, you see some of Peter's rooms, they are to the next level. They really, really are. And it makes you no wonder that we can achieve a slightly higher premium at the same time as getting let out very fast, because it tells you a lot about the landlord as well. If they put pride into the room, they're going to look after you as a tenant as well. Whereas if a landlord turns up and you've got, you know, mold in your room and a dirty old bed and stuff like that, it's probably going to tell you that the landlord is not going to treat you particularly well. So you will win. If they're viewing loads of rooms, you will win over them. You absolutely will win over them. And run some test adverts as well. You know, it's not expensive to do. You can run a few test adverts just to see the response that you get from your area, just to see if you've got interest there. Next slide, please, Mark.
I just want to add as well, we've got some offers at the end to help those of you that want to take this seriously. But we can literally, anyone that's prepared to put the effort in can do this. It's every single person on this webinar tonight. Rent to rent is possible for you. These numbers of income and profit, they are possible for you. And I think that's really important, isn't it, Justin? Anyone with the right information can do this.
I think it's the right information, Peter, and your right aptitude as well. If you take whatever I can teach you, you can teach it. But if you don't go away and do anything with it, you might as well not have spent it. However, if you deploy exactly what we tell you to do in the way we tell you to do it, then you will leave your job within 12 months. It is as simple as that. You know, there's no question about it. If you do what I tell you to do and how to do it and when to do it, and you are absolutely relentless, and I'm going to say this, guys, relentless, and you know, one of the common myths is you become a property investor and life gets easy and you don't have to do much work. Well, that's the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard in my life, because you actually work 20 times. Okay, to go back, please, Mark, mate. So an entrepreneur or a property investor is generally the only person that would work the same hours as what he was in a job for less money. And the reason why we do it is because we love it. However, if you do it right, you will work and you will be rewarded, not only financially, and this is my main point. You won't only just be rewarded financially. Sorry, I've got corona.
Just to add to what Justin's saying as well, he'll get onto the main point now. But the great thing about being an entrepreneur is you might work 15 hours a day, but if you want to go and take your kids to school, if you want to pick your kids up from school, if you want to go, like I go to a spa, Nirvana, post and pre-lockdown every single day, have a workout, have breakfast, have a sauna, a steam, a swim. You live the life you want. You still have to work hard, but you live the life you want.
Yeah, and exactly that. You know, you live. So you live the life you want, not what you're told to live. There you go. You live the life you want, not what you're told to live. So I get up in the morning like Peter. I go to the gym. This is before lockdown. I go to the gym. Sorry, I don't. I get up in the morning. I take the kids to school. I drop my kids off at school. I go to the gym. I meet up with other business owners and entrepreneurs in the David Lloyd Centre where I go. We have a workout. We have a swim. We have a sauna. We have a chat, and we come out. I'm networking all the time, but it's not work. It's what I love to do, and because I love to do it, I'm so good at it. I'm so good at it. And guys, what you're looking at now is a picture of, hands up, you know, yes or no. Have you guys seen a house like this? Yes or no? It's a really simple question. Yes or no? Have you guys seen a house like this? Because if you have, then the likelihood is you doing rent to rent is sky high, because this is just a standard 3-bedroom detached house with 2 reception rooms. It's got nice parking out the front. It's not interfering with anybody else. And it's just a nice house that we can convert into a HMO and earn some money from. We can get 4 or 5 rooms out of this property, and the figures being correct, is going to earn us £500 minimum. Not this 1,000, 1,500 plus that you see everyone advertising. A minimum, that's all I ask, is a minimum of £500 a house. The likelihood is that you're going to get 1,000 is quite high, but let's just work on the minimums, then you're not going to be disappointed. So how many guys have you guys have seen a house like that in your local area? Because if you have, the likelihood is that we're going to be able to do this in your area. Okay, so next one, please, Mark. So here's one of ours. Okay, so this is a 6-bedroom detached property. Now this one was a great one. This is actually owned by a builder. And in the back of this garden, there's a building plot. So the builder brought this plot, this house with the plot, and he just wanted peace of mind from a tenant. He didn't really want to have to worry about tenants, and more importantly, he knew that he was going to be building in that back garden. So he wanted a tenant that wasn't going to be worried about that building in the back garden. So we took this property on. It's a great property, and we actually let this property to Cranfield University, who put in overseas Chinese Chinese graduates that were coming over. So basically, you've got some huge companies in China that want their staff to be, and these are mature students that want their mature students to be educated here in the UK. So their company sends them over to Cranfield University, and it's not your standard university, it's Cranfield, it's a high-tech university. And Cranfield contacted us, said, do you have a program? We said, yes, we have. This is what it is for your 6 tenants. And they said, no problem at all. And that's a year at a time. It's a great property to look after. We don't really get any hassle from these guys. Yeah, they're a little bit messy, they're students, but that comes with management. You know, we have a team of people going in there once a week to clean it. And because of that, they lay down the law. Right, it's been messy this week, you need to pick your game up. You know, you're splashing fat against the walls, stop that. And that is what our cleaning team does. So I'm pretty sure the next slide is the figures. Let's have a look at how this looks. No, it's not. So that was one, and there was no figures there, but I will show you the figures later on. I think there's some comes up later on that we can show you. So why wouldn't a landlord rent a rent-to-rent off of me? Or why wouldn't a landlord rent his property or her property to you? Well, you've got to ask yourself, why wouldn't they? Because potentially we can take the property from a year to 5 years, you know, a 3-year long-term lease. I always try to advise people to go in at 12 months to start with, only to build the rapport. For instance, if I give one of you guys a call and say, oh, hi, it's Justin from Guaranteed Rent. Yeah, I want to take your property or take it for 5 years. Now, you don't even know me. So the thing is, you're probably going to lose more deals than you're going to achieve, because you're going for that long-term let straight away, whereas business and entrepreneurial and building this is all about rapport. So I like to train people to get into these properties and say, right, yeah, listen, we're happy to take the properties, no voids, no management fees. We will cover the basic maintenance, and really, Mr. Landlord or Mrs. Landlord, it's stress-free, and we're quite happy to take it for a year. And guess what? Look, we are looking for properties that you know, for a longer period. And if after 12 months, you know, we like you, and you have to put that on them. You have to put that on them. If we like you and you are happy with the service we provide, is there a chance, you reckon, that we could take that property for longer than 12 months? Now, if at that initial outset they go, oh no, I'm only looking for 6 months, you know it's really not a deal that you want. If it's someone that says, oh no, listen, we're only looking for 12 months, well, guess what? If your figures work and you can get your money back within 6 months and you've still got 6 months of profit, then it's worth doing. But likewise, you might get the answer, oh, do you do longer? Oh, that'd be great. And because you haven't asked for it and you've just seeded it, they're quite likely to want to know more about that service. And then at the end of it, when you're coming up for renewal, they'll be going, oh, look, you know, do you want it a little bit longer? And you go, actually, yeah, and that is where you can then go for the longer term period and say, look, actually, we love the property. We love working with you, Mrs. Landlord and Mr. Landlord. Can we have the property for another 4 years? That would be fantastic if we could. And lo and behold, you'll probably find out that they'll turn around and say, yeah, absolutely. Okay. And the reason why we can't go for much longer, you see some people saying 7, 8 years and stuff like that. Well, you can't, you're not allowed to without restriction on the property, and you're looking more at lease options and restrictions on property and stuff like that then. So we go to from 1 to 5 years, but we should initially try for that first year. Slide, please, Mark. Okay. So how do we pick profitable properties? If you click the button for us, please. I think that's missed one there. Okay. Okay. So picking properties, the right properties. So a common mistakes that people make when picking profitable properties is they guess the figures. Now, I can probably guess figures in my area, and that's because I know my area like the back of my hand. I know exactly how much a room gets. I know pretty much room for room what it achieves on bills and utilities. I know what all the council tax. So I can pretty much guess in the top of my head. But where people go wrong and where people don't find profitable properties is because they guess the figures. And they get so excited. Look at this, you see, they get so excited about getting their first deal that they start forgetting or including costs. So they'll go, yeah, we got a property, we can have it for £1,000, we get £2,500, and we're going to make £1,000, £1,500. And yet they forget insurance, maintenance, BT, utility bills, council tax, voids. They forget all these things that you have to add on first, okay? And what generally happens is you have people when the properties are not profitable, and it's one of two reasons. It's because they've got excited and they've offered too high, or the landlord has said, you've offered, let's call it £1,000, and the landlord has said, no, you can, it's £1,500, I've got somebody else wanting it. And because you're too scared, because you're a novice investor, that you're going to lose the property, that you offer the £1,500. And now, thinking that your profit margin is only £500, you've just lost your £500. So now you're a break-even point, if not losing money. And it's the excitement. What you guys need to understand when looking for profitable properties is understanding when and how to say no. If the offer is not to where you want it to be, and this is what everyone does, and I see it all the time. What did you offer that? I say as a mentor to them, and the response that I get back is, yeah, but I could add this room. Yeah, but if I did this to the room, I could get more money. Yeah, but there's no yeah buts in business. A yeah but doesn't earn you profit. You need to know exactly where your figures are, because a yeah but will lose your money and put you out of business. And that, my God, my friends, is absolutely true. A yeah but will put you out of business before you've even started. Now, the yeah buts come in because a newbie investor gets into the market, or just an excitable investor, and they are so desperate to get their first deal that when they see it on paper, they're going, oh, it's not quite well. What we're going to do, we're going to manipulate these figures now to make them work. And we're going to manipulate them to make them work. Well, we're really, really happy to look at that. And then we are going to put that offer in. And lo and behold, at the end, when the house is full, they look at their figures and the figures are at zero or minus, they're losing money. What I want, and guys, if you've got a pen and paper, I want you to write this down. There are no yeah but moments, and figures are figures, they do not lie. If the figures work, they work. If they don't, they don't, and walk away. Write that down, please, guys, because if you have that down in your, and you have that in your mindset, you'll never get a bad deal, because you'll know. One thing I want to tell you guys is, don't be frightened to walk away from a deal, because there will be another deal come up. Yeah, there always is. There's never just one deal. I have high double figure properties. Peter has high double figures properties. Mark does. Jackie does. And you'll find all successful property entrepreneurs do. But have they ever sold themselves down the thing because they are so desperate to get the property? No. Have we done it? Yes, we've done it. And that's how I'm able to tell you, because I've done that. Because of property, I was like, yeah, but it can do this. Yeah, but it can do that. And actually, it didn't. It really didn't. So making sure properties are profitable by doing it the right way and making sure your figures are right. Don't guess them. Have a spreadsheet. Get it all written down. And don't offer too high. You know, I do have a very, very good pitch in the respect that I start at a lower figure, and I show people how I'm able to get a landlord. I'm going to use round figures. How I'm able to get a landlord from £1,000 a month to £800 a month. I call that the yes machine. Mark has seen that. And Mark is, I don't know if Peter has, but Mark has seen the yes machine. He knows how powerful that is if it is absolutely nailed in your technique. If it's nailed in your technique, the yes machine will absolutely nail it. Okay, so that's how you would sort of identify profitable properties. Next one, please, Mark.
I just want to add, there's so many good questions coming in. We're going to answer all your questions at the end, so don't go anywhere. And just don't be afraid of what Justin's saying. Everything Justin is saying that he's done and he's teaching, you can do, and we can help you do. So absolutely. Anyone that wants to be out of work in 12 months can. Simple as that.
I think the point there, Peter, so I walked out of school at 15 years old with no qualifications, no exams, absolutely jack. A dyslexic boy that couldn't read or write, and ended up at a roofing on a building site. To where I am now, I'm living in the house of my dreams. I have the dream cars, I have this, I have that. Any of it you can come and have a look at. You know, I'm not one of these trainers or mentors that sit behind a closed screen in a little tiny box office that will say, yeah, you can never come down. You can come and have a look, guy. I really, you know, it is what it is, and you guys should really inspire yourselves to get out there and absolutely smash it, because I'm no different from you, and in fact probably all of you there are academically much more intelligent than me. Perhaps the difference that I had amongst other people is the fire to prove everybody wrong about me. I think that's the key. I had the fire in my belly to prove everyone wrong about me, and to actually have some of those people that spoke badly about me potentially working for me. And it's not being a big-headed thing. It's just the fire in my belly was so strong that I had to prove. And I think the next point that came for me was when my family came along. That was the next one that really pushed me to the next level. And actually, that has probably pushed me with my other investments that I have, probably to even the next level on, that I'm producing. I want to create a legacy for not just my kids, but their kids and their kids and their kids. That's where I want to go. So how do you work out your highest offer? Well, when you're working your figures out, and this is just a brief way of doing it, guys, you work out what your gross rental income is, minus your bills and monthly expenses. So they would be let's say your BT, your utility, gas, electric, water, insurances. A lot of people forget insurances. Then you put voids in there. And generally what you're looking at roughly per room is about £100 per person. So give or take, you can go from 65 to 100 per person per month is what you should be looking at for your bills going out. Okay. Once you've taken those off, you then the £100 per room is your profit, by the way. Your monthly expenses roughly works out between 65 and £100 per person, but you want to take £100 per room off for your profit. This is your minimum. So if you have a 5-bedroom house, you take £100 off, that is going to be profit. That is going to be your £500 a month profit minus voids. That is your maximum offer. Now, some people say, well, how do you get more money? Well, what I do is, again, is use the application and the pitch that I've created called the Yes Machine. And what we do is we chip away at the rent, which then adds on to the £500 a month, which then gives us a much, much better per month profit, if that makes sense. Because I never generally offer what they want. I generally bring them down, but I don't bring them down in, oh, I'm not paying that. I bring them down in a structure where I show them why I'm only going to offer this. I actually put the words into their mouth, and to a degree, they tell me that they should only be paying this. Okay, so next slide, please, Mark. Okay, so here's a great case study, and I'll give you a background behind this. The landlord of this property was overseas, actually living in Singapore. The house was rented 2 times to families. The first time the family moved in, within 2 months stopped paying the rent, took him 6 months to evict them, a loss of around £10,000 in total. And then what he found was the property was absolutely trashed, cost him X amount of £1,000 to put it back in place. Overseas, couldn't control it. The same thing happened again when he put the next tenant in. Anyway, what happened was he found one of my adverts, and he was told about me, and he approached me, and he basically said, "Look, I love what you do. Would you take my property?" And but originally, what he wanted to do, he found me because of my letting agency, not because of my rent to rent. So he asked if I would let it out, and I was like, yeah, we can let it out. But then he said something very, very clear to me. His words was, he said, "Can you let it out, and can you guarantee that the tenant is not going to trash it like the last 2 tenants have? And can you guarantee that the tenant is not going to not pay my rent?" So I turned around and said, "Look, there's no way in the world, as good as an agency that we are, I cannot guarantee you that they're not going to crash. I will do my absolute best in referencing and making sure they're good tenants, but I can't guarantee you they're not going to trash it. I also can't guarantee you they are not going to pay the bills. I can't guarantee you they're not going to pay your rent. because, Mr. Landlord, the best family in the world are only a door away from bankruptcy, or only a door away from being made redundant. And I can't control that. And I heard his voice sort of, and I could feel him going down like this. So I turned around and said, look, the one thing I can guarantee you is, I can guarantee you that I won't trash your property, and I won't stop paying rent, and I'm not going to be made redundant within the next day or so. And he said, what do you mean? Do you want the house yourself? And I went, I don't want it myself personally to live in, but this is what I do. And I explained to him about the offer, that the offering that we offer, the solution that we have. And he was like, so it doesn't, you put people in, and it got the whole concept. You put people in. Oh, thank you, Don. Thanks. You put people in, and you pay me my rent every single month, and you worry whether they pay or not. It's like exactly how it works. And he just went, yeah, just do it. I'll take it. But ultimately, this property brings in 2,225 a month, minus bills 400, operating costs 155, minus the rent to the landlord, which is 895. And bear in mind, guys, the rent for this property was around £1,000 a month. So you can see how much I bring them down. So the cash flow on that property is 775 per month. Now, because of the work and stuff that we did, now we broke even. So we had all of our money out of that property within 1.5 months. Now imagine that. Imagine being able to profit on a property that you've got all your money out so you can go again within 1.5 months. How exciting is that? So next one, please, Mark. Okay, so how to fill your rooms fast. If we can go to the next slide, please, Mark. So don't do one of these. Look, Jim Carrey there, absolutely flabbergasted in what he's seeing. And by the way, guys, these are photographs that I've taken off a spare room. These are actually photographs I've taken off a spare room. So there's not, there's not my house or anything like that. These are actually photos. And sometimes, guys, this is what you're up against. So you do not, if you want to let your rooms fast, you do not, and I repeat, you do not go in, take photographs for the sake of taking photographs and putting them on just to get your rooms lit, because I'm telling you now, it's going to work against you. Let's go to the next slide, please, Mark. Okay, this is how your rooms should look. And by the looks of these are probably some of Peter's. I'm joking. So this is how your room should look, and there are many people that can do this for you. You can do this yourself and you can dress it, or you can find companies that come in and dress it like this for you, ready. Now, bearing in mind, for any photograph that we have that goes on onto the portals, we actually stage each bedroom and we take the photograph of each bedroom, which we can keep hold of. Okay, when we are viewing the bedrooms, we actually leave the bedrooms dressed and made up like this. And guess what? Some of the people actually buy these bedding packs off of us. We do offer that. Where if we've got someone coming from the area and they go, or is this included? We go, no, the pillows, etc., are not included. However, if you'd like to buy them, we have them left here, we would charge you this. So it's an upsell that you can upsell, because generally these don't cost us huge amounts to get these rooms looking like this. But you can have a company come in and fit the whole house out, and then you just go in and dress it like this, and then make sure you get a professional photographer to come in and take the photographs. Very, very important you do that, because you could take some photos, really nice photos on your iPhones and stuff like that, but you'll never get it quite right. Whereas a professional photographer, for the sake of £100 per house or whatever it is, that's a photos you can use over and over and over and over again. And it's money well worth spending. So that's how you let your bedrooms fast, guys. You don't scrimp and save on getting it looking nice. You get it looking like a showroom. You get it looking like a hotel room, and you spent no expense spared on the photographer to come out and get the professional photos done to make it look like that. Because a good photographer will come out and will go, okay, we need to move this about, we need to move that about, because they will know what they're looking at. They've looked through that camera so many times, they'll know exactly how it needs to look. Okay, next slide, please, Mark. Okay, so listing your rooms. So there's many ways you can list your rooms. My favourite by a million miles is Spare Room. It's cheap. It is what it is. It's very easy to use. It is your marketplace. It is rooms. It's where everyone's looking. To be on Spare Room, you need to be on the paid program. And again, that's not massively expensive, about £14–15 a listing. It's not huge amounts of money, but you need to be on that one to let your rooms, and that's Spare Room. And then you have your online portals like OpenRent and UPad and Purple Bricks, people like this that will let rooms now. So what's the advantage maybe over Spare Room that you would get from an online portal? Well, the advantage is if you are not an estate agent, you can't advertise on places like Rightmove and Zoopla and places like this. Spare Room doesn't give you that. Spare Room will not advertise on those portals for you. Whereas if you advertise on OpenRent, UPad, Purple Bricks, people like this, or online portals like that, they will automatically list you on Zoopla and Rightmove, which gives you a much bigger reach for your clients. And bear in mind, not all people know about Spare Room. Yeah. Sometimes when people are looking for property, even if it is for just a room, they'll go straight onto Rightmove. And because you're not a letting agency, you won't be able to get on that. So the online platforms are a very easy way to be able to get onto onto the platforms like Rightmove and Zoopla. So Spare Room. So some little tips on how to use it. So take a look at the ads that are already out there. You know, like we've spoken about. What is the standard that we're up against? You know, is it poor? Is it bad? If it's good, then that's great. It means that we have to up our game even more. It's easy to spot who the professional adverts are, or the professional landlords are. They will list their bedrooms very well. They will have professional photographs. Their description will be precise. You can see some of the adverts are literally like a novel, okay, about the views, and it's got this and it's got that. Now, I've told you I'm dyslexic. I won't read that, yeah, and I will skip that advert and go to the next one. All I want is a brief description of where the property is, what it's got, and how it is, and then bullet points. And because you need to make people make fast decisions on, because there are so many properties out there, you need fast decision. Right, that's a house. It's got this. Right, book to view. I want to view that property. Okay. You can also do videos as well. And actually, in this market where we've done videos on the properties, those properties have let much faster than all of our other properties because people aren't traveling. So they like to have a look at videos. So we are now putting videos with all of our adverts. Adverts with nice photos get more interest. It's simple. You know, if you look at that picture now, where does your eye lead? It leads to the picture first. Yeah, you'll look at the visual first, and then you'll look at what it's got afterwards, and that's human nature. Yeah, that's human nature. That's why male birds and things like this are all pretty and they fluff all up. It's because it's visual, exactly the same as the photograph. You'll look at the photograph first. That's pants. I'm not even going to read the description. Look at the photograph. That looks really nice. What's it got to say? And that is why a photograph is your most important thing out here. It needs to be really catchy. Also, you need the header. It needs to be catchy as well. Lovely house with Sky TV in bedrooms. Okay, whether that's catchy enough, I don't know. But make sure you're a little bit different to everybody else out there that perhaps catches someone's attention. I've seen some adverts and their slogans or their catches are free, no deposits, free this, free that. For me, and guys, this is my only personal view, I don't like that because it sets you up for the future for people to try and knock you on stuff. Yeah, it sets you up in the future for people to knock you. So I've never been a believer in giving a service away because it always sets you up for, in the future, someone trying to take the mickey out of you. So also what you can do on Spare Room, you have a little tab once you have listed your advert, and it's called Renew tab. You can it's not actually renewing it as in you've got to pay, but you can renew it, and what that helps you do is boost your listing up the pages, and it keeps it fresh. So when it's fresh, it's up there. Now you will need a paid for ad. You can get free ads. Free ads are okay, they will still get seen. However, what it means is, because it's a free ad, it generally means that the viewer has to pay Spare Room to have a look at your property. Whereas if it's a paid for ad by you, it's free for them to contact you, and that is what you want. You want them to be able to contact you very, very easily, right? So go for a paid ad. You don't need to go for the feature ad. The feature ad is like a pay-per-click ad. I don't generally think that you need that if you word it right and you have the right photographs and you renew the ad each day the right way. But you can, some people love the feature advert, so it's not one that I use, purely because probably I've honed the technique of Spare Room quite well. So there you go, that's a little bit about Spare Room. Okay, Mark, next slide please, bud. Okay, so I love this house. This is Shackleton Place. This was a landlord in the armed forces, based overseas. It was run as a fully licensed HMO, but for some reason the guy that he had it, that was managed it for him, was just putting dross in there. There was no rent coming in. There was lots of drugs going on in there and stuff like that, and he just pulled his hair out. Now the property came on the market in that local area. It was, and bearing in mind what I'm going to tell you in a minute, I pay more rent for it now from what I used to pay. But the market rent was about £100 a month more than what this is. Again, I used my Yes machine on the gentleman and got him down. But originally I was only paying £725 for this property, but I've had it so long now, I've had it, blimey, I've probably had this property probably about 8 years now. It's earned me an absolute fortune, it really has. I was paying £725. I've now obviously agreed to pay the landlord a little bit more. But ultimately, out of this property, the profit is £809, give or take, at the time of year with the bills going up and down, but roughly around £800 a month profit from, again, a property that I don't even own. And again, break-even point, because it was already a licensed HMO, I didn't have much spend on it. All I needed to do was to go in and dress it in a much, much better way. But I basically broke even on that property within 2 months, or just after 2 months. Okay, next slide, please, Mark. Okay, so what I want to show you now, guys, is quite powerful. So I'm going to show you 5 properties that I have, just 5 properties. And bearing in mind that I've told you that over the course of the next 12 months, I want you to build a portfolio of 6 houses. So I've left the 6th one out, and I've just left this at 5 to show you what is possible. So Shackleton Place, that one that you can just see here, you know, I've had it for 8 years now, but over 7 years, that property had earned me £72,000 from a property I don't own. Polborough Close, I showed you that property. For the 5 years I've had that property, it's earned me £58,000. Town Avenue has earned me £54,000. Thriftwood Crescent has earned me £50,000, and Littlestone Gate has earned me £75,000. Now let's add all that lot up in the next slide and have a quick look at this. That's £309,000, guys, from 5 properties. Now, if you was to divide that and split that over 5, over the amount of years that are in there, that works out at just over £60,000 a year from just 5 properties. Now, put in the box, yes or no, whether £60,000 would make a massive difference to you each year. And bearing in mind, guys, I've told you that I want you to build 6 houses over the next 12 months, not 5, 6. And this is 5 houses. A whopping £309,000 over that time, which works out about £60,000 a year. You can agree whether you can't. I think that's pretty impressive just from 5 properties. We have the next slide.
Everybody's saying yes this time.
Yes.
Imagine that. I mean, boom, magic, just like that, magic. Okay, next slide, please, Mark.
Okay, mate.
Why Mark's triggering that? Yeah, so imagine that, guys. You know, by the end of the year, not having that £36,000 or not having that £26,000 average wage job, but not having the £36,000, but having £60,000. Yeah, £60,000 per month within 12 months. Now, is every one of you going to achieve that? No, you're not. But is every one of you going to achieve that takes the action and pushes that in or get very close to it? Yes, you are. You're certainly going to earn, for those action takers, you're certainly going to earn the £36,000 without a shadow of a doubt. If you take the action and put into place what I tried to show you, and with the knowledge that you take, you will definitely earn the £36,000. The £60,000, some of you will do that as well. Some of you will do more. I'm absolutely sure of that. You know, as I said, many of the businesses that I've taught in the past have now turn over 6 figures. Absolutely, 6-figure businesses, some 7-figure. Okay, and that's purely because of the way I teach people and the blood that I need from them, the sweat that I need the people to put into this business. So, guys, you know, yes or no, you know, would you guys like to know how we can help you do the same? You know, is it okay if we tell you about how we can help you? Yes or no? You know, if it's no, that's fine. Go and make a cup of coffee and don't listen. But if I'm asking your permission to show you how we can show you how to make £30,000 to £60,000 a year within your first year, please put yes if you'd like us to show you, and then we will do that.
So there's a lot of people want us to show them. Yes.
Well, for you superstars, then let's move on. Let's move on and see what we can do.
Awesome.
Okay, so the process that we go down is, and this is the road to success, the success roadmap, my roadmap in how we get you to this place. So the first thing we look at is the source. Where do we get the properties? Yeah, do we get the properties ourselves, or would you look for sourcing agents? Hopefully, I will teach you well enough to get the properties yourself, so you can save your money from sourcing agents and leave that money for you to put in the bank. However, there are some really good sourcing agents out there. But again, I know this industry, Mark knows this, Peter knows this industry. We will show you who those good people are if you want to buy deals in. And by the way, you can buy deals in. But I would rather you find your own deals because it will save you a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Okay, but if you can't, then you want to buy deals, we will help you down that road as well. I will show you who's good at sourcing deals. I will show you who's not going to rip you off. Yeah, you know, I would like to think that you won't buy a deal from anybody unless I give it to say, yes, you can buy that property or take that property. Okay, so the source, we then do our location research. Yeah, we understand what's going on in their area. Who are our target property? Who is our target audience? Who are our tenants? Who are our clients? Who are our landlords? Who are the estate agents we're going to be dealing with? And by the way, do not be scared of estate agents. I'm one. Peter's one. Do we look that scary to you? Peter might, but I certainly don't. So there is nothing to be scared of. And by the way, guys, if you think about estate agencies, you could spend all day on the phone looking on Rightmove, looking for properties, or you could find a really, really good estate agent or letting agent that supplies you with properties. You probably only need 1 or 2 letting agencies to make your job very, very easy. Is that fair, Peter?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, we teach you how to get the estate agents coming to you with the deals. So every day your phone's ringing and the deals are coming to you. You don't even have to go and look for them. And
No,
I think being an estate agent and running estate agencies ourselves, Justin and I know what makes them tick. We know what makes them come back to you. And the biggest mistake an investor will ever make is walk into an estate agent with their balls swinging around, thinking they're the big I am, and making an estate agent feel small. It's the worst thing you can do. You go in, you let the estate agent control the situation, control the relationship. You build a trusting relationship, and that guy or woman will come to you with deal after deal after deal after deal. And all you've got to do is make sure you repay them, make sure you keep going back for them, and make sure you drop off the odd bottle of Dom Perignon in front of all their teammates so they feel fantastic. Am I right?
absolutely. Spot on. Absolutely. And I think what positions us in the best way to be able to teach you guys about how to speak to agencies. I'm not anymore, but I owned a very large estate agency, which I sold. I was an estate agent for many years. I owned one. Peter still owns one. He still is one. There is no other trainer out there that are estate agents that can teach you how to speak to estate agents, that tells you what makes an estate agent work, what is going to turn an estate agent off. So that's
I'll tell you what. I love Lee Batty. Lee Batty's he's in the webinar tonight. He's an estate agent. He has an estate agency, and he's just gone, I completely agree, guys. Ha ha. Well, Lee, let me tell you something. You're an estate agent with probably a month's worth of education from us. You'll be doing your own deals quicker than anyone else, mate.
Well, mate, you're in the driving seat, Lee. Absolute driving seat for this. You know, because you already have the confidence to be able to speak to people. You're already doing valuations and things like this. So you have the banter, you have the pitch already, which is great. So you have location research, then you source the property. Again, we talk you through, you know, we'll show you how to speak to agents. I love going to agents, and the reason being is because you only need 1 or 2, and then you got those on your books. And as Peter said, you make sure you pay them, you treat them every now and then, and they'll love you forever. And you will be called the minute a deal comes in, without you even to look on Rightmove. But at the same time, one of my favorite ways, because I'm a bit of a hunter, I love hunting down landlords, and the reason being where I can chip away at the landlord from £1,000 to, let's say, £800, which I might not be able to do with the estate agent. So actually, very often, what I tend to find is when I'm direct to landlord, I get my bigger profit margins, but there's more work involved. Whereas I go with the estate agencies, less work involved because they're bringing me the deals, but the profit margin is not quite as great as the landlord. So that's why we try to teach you both scenarios of that.
Just to elaborate on what Justin said as well, we will teach you how to look at deals that have been on the market for 3 months and haven't let, potentially if it's the right house, ideal rent to rent deals. And we will teach you how to go direct to the landlord. And if they're local, go and have a meeting face to face with them to discuss this opportunity. So, I mean, no one is doing that. That's exactly what Justin and I did. We did what everyone else wasn't. Straight to the landlord, conversation with the landlord, and a close within 24 hours. It's possible.
Easy. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. You know, and bear in mind some of those closes didn't happen within 24 hours. Frithbury Crescent that I showed you on that list actually took 6 months. But this is where I say each salesperson or renter is only as good as their follow-up. And I got that within the 6 months because my follow-up was second to none. And that's where I beat generally a lot of people in my area, or I did when I was on the tools type thing. I beat a lot of people in my area purely because my follow-up skills, and you'll know this, Peter, from being an estate agent and following up those viewings, that my follow-up skills were second to none, and that's why I got more deals than everybody else.
What we're different to Justin. Justin has dyslexia, but I have exactly the same problem through ADHD. I have ADHD, so I have exactly the same problem for different reasons. Concentration levels. I do everything a million miles an hour. So structure, organization, repetitiveness is so important to me. So having the follow-up in place to make sure that you're always doing it is so important. And again, through my own weaknesses, you grow strengths.
Yeah, absolutely, totally get it. So next thing is one of the most important things. It's all very well having this lovely business where you're earning £1,000 a month, but what happens if you're doing it all illegally? Well, there's lots that can happen. If you get licensing wrong, you go to jail. You know, if something happens bad within that property, if licensing is wrong and you don't have a license, you could have to pay back all the rent that you've ever taken on that property, which is quite a scary amount. So also a lot of people get scared by planning and a thing called Article 4, which is a planning direction in a lot of areas. And people get scared by this, but honestly, guys, with licensing and planning, there is nothing to be really scared about if you know what you're doing, if you understand it, and if you know exactly what to do. Nothing is scary. It is probably the most important part because it's the one that could cripple your business if you don't do it and get it wrong. But it's something that shouldn't be scared of. It's not something that should be shied away. It should be taken straight on head first and to go from there. Okay, then we'll go through the setup and the target market. Okay, so who is our target market? Who are our tenants? What tenant type are we going for? Are we going for blue collar workers? Are we going for professional? You know, are we going in some areas for council, LHA, local housing allowance? You know, there are rent-to-rent strategies, believe it or not, guys, that you can take a property on and re-rent it straight back to the council. Not so much down north, but more northern sort of properties, but there are strategies out there that you can use this. You know, I'll give you examples. You can use rent to rent in a model called emergency housing, where you can rent a property, you can have the property, and you can rent it to the council, where they put young families in it by the night, and that's a very profitable business if you get it right. Okay, not going to talk about that much now, but it's something that I do talk about, the emergency housing side of rent to rent, which can be very profitable if you get it right. Then we furnish the property. So we talk you through how to furnish it, how to save money on furnishing it, and how to get it looking right. Add some tricks of the trade in that. We also go through then the advertising of rooms. And again, you know, not just what I've showed you tonight, but some deep in-depth ways of how to advertise, how to get the best out of adverts, how to use spare room to its full potential for the free resources it has. We then go into how do we fill the rooms and what are the process, the contracts that we use with tenants. You know, we could have the wrong contracts for the tenants, which means that we can't even go into the property. So we need to make sure that you guys are fully versed on how to process a tenant, what contracts and what agreements to put them on. And then we talk about how to manage the properties, which is very important. How to manage the properties. Management of tenants is one of the key things to this business, because without the right management in place, you're going to get a lot of headaches, maybe a lot of rents that aren't paid, and you're going to be working hours that you don't want to work. So actually having the right management in place and the right tools in place to be able to do that is absolutely vital. And then when we've got that properties and we've got it all done, then we talk about scaling and how to expand, how to look for JV finance, how to approach investors if you don't have any money. Yeah, one of the things I'm an absolute wizard at is actually raising JV finance. So I will show you how to expand and scale that business to the next level. Thanks, Mark. Next one. Okay, So I'm going to ask you guys, which would you prefer? Would you prefer to go and do it on your own, and you'll get there? This guy will still get there on his square wheels. Don't get me wrong, but which would you prefer? Would you prefer to go down the path on these square wheels, or would you prefer to be driving slick like this fellow on his back of the motorbike, just sailing down the freeway because you have all the right experience? And you know, don't get me wrong, like what I just said to you, I'm a 20-year success. So I took those square wheels. But with the right education and the right mentorship behind you, you can get from A to B much, much faster on the back, doing a handstand on a motorbike if you wish. But ultimately, the left is me of how I did it, and the right is how you could get there very, very fast. Okay, next slide, please, Mark. Okay, so the bonus or webinar bonuses that Mark has quite kindly given to everyone is a free.
I'm always happy to give away other people's stuff.
I don't think Mark did agree to this. I think it was me.
So the free bonuses, and this is why we said stay to the very end, because you are going to be given some free bonuses. So we're going to, three bonuses for tonight are the free move-in checklist. So they're valued at about £100 if you were to get someone to make this. So you'll get to use it, and you know, so you know exactly what is needed when you're checking someone in, or you know, when you take your property on, you know exactly what to tick off and what should be there. You'll get given a free communal rules agreement. Again, there's a value on this, and it's only 50 quid. But if you asked me to write that up for you, and you wasn't on the webinar, mate, guys, my hourly rate is 250 quid. So, you know, being dyslexic, it'll probably take me 2 hours to write it up. So there you go, probably £500 if I was to do it. So 50 quid, there has to be a price on this.
The value on that, mate, Justin, the value on the common rules is invaluable.
Yeah.
We have common rules in every room of our HMOs, and it actually gets the tenants behaving in a better way, looking after the property better, working together. That common rules agreement probably saves me about 10 grand a year. Yeah,
absolutely, and it puts a bit of ownership in the property, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get a landlord discovery call template valued at £200. Now, the use of the discovery call system, so you don't miss anything when you're talking to landlords, when you're taking a property on. And I'll give you an example of this exact thing and why you should use this. Now, years ago, when I worked with Mark, we had a lady that had a rent-to-rent property, and she didn't use a checklist or a discovery call or things like this. And when she took the property on, she actually missed a boiler. Do you remember that, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually missed the boiler. So when she took the property on, she moved into the property, or took the property on, and the tenants complained of no heat, and that was because there was no boiler. That was the case of it, but there was no workings behind it because she hadn't checked it. So you get the template of the landlord discovery call template, so you don't miss anything. Okay, you also get the common law agreement valued at £3,000, guys. £3,000. That is how much a solicitor would charge you if you went and asked for our template to be replicated. 3 grand. Okay, so that's some great webinar bonuses for you there, guys. Some great webinar bonuses.
And there's more.
And there's more. Wow. So you get.
We didn't tell you about these ones.
Bloody hell, Mark. So you get a free house manual. Okay, very, very important. Okay, valued at £100. You use the template of that to produce your own comprehensive manual. Now, this is really important. A house manual tells the contractors, you know, who to contact. A house manual tells the contractors where to get supplies from, where to do this. A house manual will tell the tenants within the property exactly who they should be calling, how they should be calling them, and so on like that. So very important. You get the offer machine, which is valued at £500. Okay, use our custom built-in spreadsheet for quick calculation of how to make quick and easy decisions on whether the property's profitable. you get the HMO list letter. So this is the letter that we send to the HMO list. So all councils have a HMO list, and we give you a template so you can send that to all of the people that's on that list. And you get also added to the Facebook group, support group, again valued at £1,200, because you only get to go there if you're on here. Okay, so next slide please, Mark.
Tell you what, mate, I think that's undervalued. I think the support group is by far. I mean, we've got some of our existing mentees on the group on the call tonight, and they'll stand up for that. The value of the Facebook support group is just unbelievable, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, because the great thing about that is that one of us can contribute to that, as and when we want. It doesn't, if we see it, if there's one of us around, we can do it. Yes, yeah. So it's invaluable, that one, really, to support you throughout. Okay, so the bonuses you get, guys. So you get the moving checklist, £100. So you get the communal rules, £50. The landlord call, 200, but the landlord call template, £200. The common law agreement, £3,000. That's the big one. The house manual, £100. The offer machine, which I think is invaluable as well, because it's in the right hands, it's absolutely devastating, £500. The letter that you don't even have to write up, you just take it and then send it off to HMO list, £100. Common law agreement, we've already spoken about that one. The Facebook group support, £1,200. And here you go, guys, 6 months of mentorship with me and the PMA team, worth £10,000. So the grand total of that lot is £15,350. And for me, guys, I've spent more than that on education, a lot more now. And I've spent a lot more and not got as much as that included. Okay, I really haven't. Next slide, please, Mark. So if this course is for you and it's helped you if all this course helped you do was get one rent to rent a year that was earning you £12,000 a year, would it be worth it? I think you've got to ask your question now. If you just took one property on and you was earning £12,000 a year, would actually the training that me and the guys give you, would it be worth it? Well, I think it would, because actually from one deal would pay for your education, full stop. It would pay for your education, full stop, just from one deal. And with that education, you can then, the world's your oyster, you can do what you want. If it took the pressure off you financially every month, would it be worth it? Yeah, just one deal, would it be worth it? That's what you need to understand. Even if you only took one deal on, would it take the pressure off you financially every month? Well, my guess is an extra £500 or £1,000 just from one deal would take a lot of pressure off you from something that is not going to even take you an hour a week to look after. If it gave you the time, money to do what you want when you want, would it be worth it? If you had an extra 2 or 3 hours a week to spend with your kids, your family, or going down the driving range, or going to the spa like Peter does every day, would it be worth it? One deal a month, would it be worth it? My guess is it would be worth it. Okay, next one. Okay, once you've completed the mentorship, you will know how to find the right areas, how to speak to landlords and agents, how to set up your own HMO. Yeah, you won't be having to pay the sourcing agents because you will know how to do that. So again, I'll ask you the question, if you know how to feed yourself, will you ever pay for that product again? You won't, because we will teach you how to do it, how to set up your HMO, how to manage them virtually hands-free. So like what Peter said, if you want to do this hands-free and you want to stay at your job, so you're earning £30,000–40,000 a year from this, and you're earning £30,000–40,000 from your day job, then it's a win-win scenario, isn't it? It's a win-win game. We will teach you how to do that. Yeah, it's one of the things we'll teach you. We will teach you how to get your first property. We will teach you how to do that. We will show you, we'll handhold you, we will talk you all the way through it. You know, and being part of the mentorship and the Facebook group, you can throw me your deals through and I will analyze them. Don't get me wrong, guys. If you chuck me just a photo of a property and how much you get it for and say, can you work that out for me? I'm probably going to tell you politely to do one, because my way of training is it's very hands-on training. But what I will do is I will be with you and handhold you all the way through it. And I will show you, right, no, you've done that wrong. I will want to see some effort from you is what I'm saying. I want to see some effort from you. So I will see the effort and go, right, okay, that's not quite right. Hang on, that's not quite right. But what I'm going to do is let me show you now how it should have been done. And let's get to that right figure. Sorry, Peter.
I was just going to say, in 2010, I was on 155 grand as a shareholder and director of an estate agency. And I'm not saying that to impress you, more to make a point. And I was earning more money on my rent-to-rent portfolio. So I was a director of an estate agency, shareholder, earning over 155 grand a year. And I was earning well over that on my rent-to-rent portfolio, doing 2 jobs at the same time. So we're talking about 12 grand a year. I'm talking about anyone on here, if they want to and they follow what we say and what Justin teaches, we're talking free. We're talking 6 figures for me, done properly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we will teach you how to scale that business to the next level. You know, like what I've done, what Peter's done, what Mark has done, what many of my clients have done. You know, I was just talking to one of the guys that I mentor now. I was just talking to him this morning. And the reason why I was talking to him, because he just posted that he's just got his 6th property. Yeah, his 6th property. 2 young lads. They are absolute, I call them my sons. They call me dad. You know, these are proper lads, and they are out there, a bit like what I call Mark Pops. They are out there and they are absolutely smashing it to pieces, but they've just achieved their 6th property.
Amazing.
But like what Peter said, if we look at my estate agency, actually my rent-to-rent portfolio was outstripping my letting agency in money, what it was producing each month. And I sold my letting agency and my estate agency for pretty much a life-changing amount of money that's pretty much retired me. Okay, if should I want to be retired, I don't, but I could if I wanted to. And that is what Rent can do, because it can produce so much profit. So we will teach you how to scale that business to the next level and really and not just to scale it fast, but to scale it, like I said earlier, the happy, sad growth. We will teach you to scale it on the happy growth, the sustainable growth that will make this property business worth money, because we have supplied you with the right contracts in place to make that business structured very, very well to make it worth money. Okay, Mark, next one, please, bud. Okay, so these are some testimonials of people that I've actually trained. Many of these people you may know. And I will say on this webinar tonight, many of the trainers that you see out there today, guys, have been trained by myself. I'm not going to hold that back. Many of the trainers that are out there training people today have been trained by me first. And I just want to put that out there to let you know that you're going to the direct source now. Okay, so these are some people may know. So Stephen Doran. Stephen Doran is the author of the best-selling book, Burn the Bullshit. He's a mindset coach. He teaches NLP, but he wanted to take rent-to-rent to the next level, and he wanted to understand it. And, you know, here's what he said. You know, I'm not going to read it to you because I'll probably get it all mixed up, but I have a better understanding of how to run a profitable property business. So that's the key there, not just a rent-to-rent business, but because of the skills that I gave him, he now knows how to run his own property portfolio, which he had, how to run a profitable business now on what I taught him, just on the rent-to-rent. The rent-to-rent training gave me practical knowledge that after having completed the course, I have applied within days. That's because he's an action taker. Yeah. Thanks to the course, I now have a better understanding of how to run a profitable property business. But more importantly, go and kick up the bum. I got a kick up the bum that allowed me to take the action. So basically what he's saying there is, I'm not one of these trainers that are going to let you get away with stuff lightly. I'm one of these trainers that are going to say, mate, why haven't you done it? So these are some other people that have been on my course. Rob Hall. These are all people, by the way, guys, and I want to make this very, very clear. This is not me bullshitting. These are all people that are on Facebook that you can go and find, and you can go and ask what type of person I am, whether I'm the real deal or not. Many of these people have been to my house and they've seen what I have and they've seen what I do, and they've also been trained to me. Rob, thanks very much. Learned so much, really enjoyed it. It's given me the knowledge and motivation and inspiration to take action and my new business to my new business ventures. Clayton, once again, I'm not going to keep going on all these, but all these people have taken my training and have gone on and done. And some of these people, guys, and I'm not going to lie to you, some of these people haven't actually ever gone and done rent to rent. But some of these people have taken what I've taught them about business in the rent to rent course and have gone on and done other things as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so Giuseppe. So Giuseppe is actually one of Mark's prodigies. So I will just step in quickly. Probably the best training he had was with me. I'm only joking.
I think it might have been with me after both of you.
So Giuseppe is a great guy. He's a lovely man.
Yeah.
Now Giuseppe was trained. He's one of Mark and Jackie's prodigies. And years ago, when I first got into rent-to-rent training, Giuseppe was actually one of my students on my course that I run with Mark and Jackie. He was probably one of my first real successes in rent-to-rent. He's a great guy. Did exactly what I told him. I went to his house one day and showed him how to mail shot all of his things, where he'd been sitting all night licking stamps and putting on envelopes, and I showed him how to systemize that. And he's an Italian. He was like, "Oh, mamma mia, I can't believe it," because I showed him how to do what had taken him 4 days to do in about 15 minutes. But Mark, say you can take the glory on this fella, mate.
Yeah, no, I mean, he just followed exactly everything that we taught, didn't he? And I think, as it says there, on just 10 hours a week, managed to earn over £5,000 per month without buying a single property. He just followed the system. And I think that was on 6 properties, £5,000 per month.
Yeah. And the thing with Giuseppe was, and quite rightly you said there, he was actually had a very, very well paid job with Shell, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Very, very, very well paid. He's a very, very intelligent man. Very, very well paid job within Shell International.
Yeah.
For those that
allowed his wife to give up work. That £5,000 a month allowed his wife to give up work to concentrate on building the rent-to-rent business, which then subsequently enabled Giuseppe to go full-time in property.
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine that, And then we have Viv and Ray, probably one of the loveliest couples you've ever met. Lovely, lovely story behind them. It's a true love story all behind them. How they found each other, got separated, found each other again. It's a great story. Again, they was on Mark and Jackie's mastermind program, and when I met them was when I taught them how to do rent to rent. I think they had originally been on another course, and until they saw what I had to say, and then they took it to the next level, and they really didn't. And here's the thing with these guys is they weren't worried about competition, and they did something very, very different, which enabled them to get, in excess of 25% plus on room rates. That's pretty right, isn't it, Mark? On their local competitors, because of the, whether they're still doing that, I don't know, but they was able to get 25%, plus on their room rates compared to their competitors because of the extras that they offered. Great story. And I think one of Viv's ambitions was to bring her dad to live here from South Africa, which she realized. She did that. and it was all to do with Rent to Rent and what it gave her. She was able to bring her dad here, who was a great, he was a great gentleman, and she was able to bring him here from South Africa, and that's what she's able to do, and that's all on the back end of Rent to Rent. And they came here from South Africa and creating over £10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a quick recap of the PMA Property Mentor Elite Rent to Rent mentorship. So it's a 6-month program with obviously Justin being prime component of the team. Starts virtually straight away. It's a brand new program with direct access to Justin and the full PMA team. So it's not just one person, you get access to the whole team in our network. It's the first online rent-to-rent mastermind type program. I don't think there's any other one out there actually at the moment, with immediate support and mentoring. And there's weekly live face-to-face conferencing, usually a minimum of 2 hours with weekly Q&A. So you're never more than a week apart from speaking to us to help push your rent-to-rent business forward. And you've got daily access via the Private Accountability Facebook group. So anything that comes up during that can't wait for the next call that we have, you can do on the Facebook group. And what you'll find is one of us will get back to you, usually the same day, if not within 24 hours. And the support and guidance to help you succeed. You've already heard from Justin this evening that the program as it's set out is there in a particular format to make sure you follow it to succeed at Rent to Rent. And Justin is without doubt the best rent to rent coach and most successful rent to rent coach in the country by far. All of these things you heard about earlier, total value 15,350 quid. We're letting you have it for just £495 plus VAT per month. There's no big upfront fee, just £495 plus VAT per month.
I just want to add to that. We do a 12-month mentorship, and that's where Viv and some of the other people we just spoke about made their money and got their success. A 12-month mentorship that they paid 24 grand for, £24,000, and that was great value for money. This is the cheapest we've ever done a mentorship. It's the cheapest we ever will do a mentorship. And it's purely for the reason that people are at home, we're at home, we've got more time, we're pretty much, successful in our own right. We want to help people, and we want to help as many people as possible. So it may sound like we're giving it away, and it's because we are giving it away. And it's the only time we're ever going to give it away. So please take advantage of it. Come and work with the 4 of us, myself, Mark, Jackie, and obviously Justin, and we will change your life. Or effectively, you'll change your life because you're putting the effort, but we will help you change your life. And Rent to Rent is by far, in my opinion, one of the best property strategies ever invented, because anybody can do it if they put the effort in and they've got the will to succeed. And I mean, there's so much more we will give you because we want to help you succeed. The agreements, the ASTs, the agreement between you and the landlord, the agreement between you and the tenant. You're never going to get a shop like this, which has absolutely everything in it, so you can literally go and run a rent-to-rent business immediately with a bit of hard work. That's all we ask, a bit of hard work and the determination to succeed. And to work with myself, Mark and Jackie, also, like Mark said, the best rent-to-rent investor, coach and mentor in the UK. This is nonsense. And I'll be honest, I wasn't too happy about doing it at 495, but the other boys, the other men wanted to. So take advantage. We're going to try and answer some questions now. There's so many, and even if you've got more questions, keep them coming, and we'll try and get through them all. But I think Mark's going to talk about a few more testimonials and a bit more about the offer.
Mark, is there a link for anyone to click if they want to go and take this?
Yeah, just
take advantage of it.
Actually, so those are just a few more testimonials, but you've probably seen now. I think you kind of get the message. So it's £495 per month. Now we said there'd be an extra bonus. Now the extra bonus, on top of all the other stuff we've given you already, your business or life partner can join for free. So it's no
Amazing.
double whammy. If you're in a relationship, you've got a husband, wife, partner, whatever it is, they can join for free for the first 10 people to sign up tonight. That's the link you need to go to, which I'll type into the question box now, so you can get to see it. But just you need to click on that link and sign up tonight, because this kind of offer is just not going to hang around. It's as Peter said, we've never offered something this cheap before. So
I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well, Mark, if it's all right. For the first 5 people, 2 people have already just booked. For the next 3 people that book, I'm going to throw in my 1-day HMO masterclass completely free of charge. Is that okay, Mark? Well, it's too late. I am. I'm going to throw in my 1-day HMO masterclass. I mean, it's all relevant with rent to rent. And we're going to teach you how we deal with professional HMOs in our areas, which is obviously all going to be relevant to you. So you can have that free of charge as well.
Right, do you want to start taking some questions whilst I type this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's have a look. So many. You want to start, Justin?
Yeah, I can't see any questions, mate. So
okay, I'll go. So thank you very much. I really appreciate giving your time. Justin, inspirational. Peter, incredible. Mark, thank you so much. I want to bring my partner into this. How much extra is it for my partner to get involved?
nothing.
I think it's free. Yeah, that's the offer tonight. Free. The first 10 people, you can bring your partner, business partner, or life partner for nothing. So book now, my young friend.
Okay, what have we got?
Oh.
Trying to find the
If you
question.
already have a property company, do you need to set up a separate one for rent to rent, Justin?
All depends what your property company is. Not necessarily. You can do if you want to. Let's say, for instance, it all depends what your exit is. If you want to build it to sell in the future, then yes, because obviously you don't want to build it under that brand of your property business and then have to try and separate that out when you sell it. So what I would do to add value to that business would be to build it under a brand new brand. But if you have an existing property business that has background and accounts and stuff like that, you can still use that for your referencing, etc., etc. But then you just put it into the new company's name when you do the paperwork. So yeah, I would always advise to have a new company, purely because I always like to think when I'm starting something, what is the exit? And the exit of that would be to sell the property, to sell that business. So therefore, I need to structure it in a way that it is away from this business, that when I sell it, it's worth more money, etc.
If I sign up tonight, when can me and my partner start? Well, we start next week. I mean, we don't waste any time. If you sign up tonight, we literally start next week. The group starts. We'll forward you all the joining information, all the freebies, all the bonuses, and then we start next week. There's no better time than the present.
Yeah. So all the time when it starts with me, we go from like A to Z on the training. So you basically get all of my knowledge and all of the training, and it's with me, and I will literally train you each week on how to do rent to rent. It'll be absolutely jam packed. So get ready for it. It will be absolutely jam packed. And yeah, 495, guys, is absolute bargain. You know, and I'm not going to brag about how much I earn and stuff like that, but you try getting me for 495, it's, you know, it's near on impossible. And actually, if you look around you, you could go on a day's course that's going to cost you 795 plus that. And this is 6 months with us, 6 months.
I've just got to reiterate, we're only doing this because we're all in lockdown. We've all got more time. We all need something to be happy about. We all want to make money. We want to help other people make money. We're never going to do this again. You can bring a partner. You're getting all the bonuses. You're never, ever, ever going to get this opportunity again. I just want to put it out there. So we're certainly never going to do this again.
No, we're not. And like the bounce back loans, when lockdown is over, mate, this offer stops. The same as bounce back loans. When the lockdown is over, they will stop. When the lockdown offer ends, or when the lockdown finishes, these offers will stop because we can get back to normal. So take advantage. You know, with every situation, with every unfortunate situation, recession, whatever that may be, there is always opportunities. And this, guys, is an opportunity to get involved and to change your life to a degree. You know, to put extra money in your bank accounts and to make life just that little bit more pleasurable, because you don't have to worry about where the next penny is coming from.
Justin, what is your advice on bonding relationships with the local council and overcoming different covenants on properties that stop HMOs?
Right. So what do you mean by different covenants? So the only different covenants that you would have would be Article 4, that would potentially stop a HMO. A license is not a covenant, and Article 4 is not a covenant. That's a planning direction. Now they would be potentially the only ones that you would need to worry about in the majority of areas. You can build rapport, and don't get me wrong, I have a very good rapport with all of our local housing sector girls and gentlemen. And it's just about being honest and actually showing them that I'm a decent person, showing them that the product I offer is second to none, and doing everything they tell me, honestly. Now, Article 4 in many areas, I'm actually finding it's starting to be relaxed. I don't know if you're finding that, Peter, but certainly in a lot of areas, Article 4 is starting to be relaxed. You know, I do this, guys, in an area that is blanket Article 4. Every single road in Milton Keynes is Article 4, which in theory should tell you that rent to rent is near on impossible here. But there are ways and means around it, guys. And these are things that I will show you on our 6-month mentorship, how to get around that. Not so much how to get around that, but how to work with the councils to make it happen. And again, in certainly not even getting around it, but in many areas now, the councils are relaxing Article 4, and there are more and more HMOs actually getting planning permission now in Article 4 areas to do what they do, but it's only a planning direction.
Excellent, well done. And just to add to that, between me and Justin, we have never ever been refused a HMO license.
No, never.
So working with us, you're never going to have to worry, providing you follow our advice and Justin's advice about getting a HMO license. Is it possible that I can bring 2 business partners on this mentorship with me? No. Of course you can, but you obviously, we can only give one away for free because the value is ridiculous anyway. But yeah, for £1,000 you can have 3 of you or even 4 of you on it. But I don't think anyone else needs to say anything else about that.
I take it you know Ravi, Justin.
Ravi Gore, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he said Justin's good. He's changed my life after working and training from him, and then God.
Oh, that's nice.
Bless you, mate. He's Ravi. Ravi is a guy that just does what you tell him to do, and he's a guy that I've mentored for a while, and he, you know, he's not had an easy life himself, but he just does what you tell him to do. I've got to call him in the next couple of days actually. But yeah, no, thanks Ravi for that. I really appreciate that, mate. Yeah. So let me just tell you about Ravi actually, guys, while you're on here, and this is one of the things that you'll get. So Ravi obviously is in the rent to rent arena, but he wanted some cash flow to start with before he could get into rent to rent. He wanted cash flow to enable him to not worry about life and so on like that. And we had a chat, and basically what I found was that Ravi was all over the place. He was trying to be a jack of all trades, and the trouble he'd been to a property course that had showed him many different strategies, and he didn't know what one to do, and he tried to do all of them. And I just said, right, what do you want? And he said, I need this, this, this. And I said, right, the cash flow, yeah, you need the cash flow. Right, let's make that happen. And he will tell you whether he answers this or not, but I gave him a massive size 11 kick straight up his arse and said, this is what you need to do. A week later, he contacted me and said, Justin, and sent me a photo. He'd done 11 deals to sell on. 11 deals. He had achieved 11 rent-to-rent deals. Now, this is not what he was going to keep, but he was going to sell these on as a deal, as package deals for £2,000–3,000 a time. So it's 11 deals he found. You know, I don't know whether he's gone on to sell all of those, but even if he sold one of those, it would have been worth everything. And, you know, he's given me a nice review on here, which is, thanks very much, buddy.
If there are only 3 bedrooms, does it need to be registered as a HMO? I can answer that. No, it doesn't. Basically, it only needs to be registered as a HMO for 5 bedrooms or above. Above 6 bedrooms or 6 people, you then require full planning permission. But if you're doing less than 5 bedrooms, it can be very difficult to get good profit out of the property. So, hope that answers your question, Lola. Let's have a look at some more questions. So many. Can I get all the freebies? Yes, as long as you sign up for the mentorship. When you say minimum voids, what percentage are you used to?
So minimum voids. So I don't know what you work on. What percentage are you working on, Peter, on your voids? So
from my point of view, across the UK, the average void is 18%, so 82% occupancy over a year. Last year we had about 346 rooms managed. Our occupancy was 97%. We had a 3% void period, but we are doing luxury rooms. We're doing high-class luxury rooms to professional tenants. So our occupancy is naturally going to be higher. But I'm still amazing.
That's really good, mate. Really good. I would say the further you go into not so good areas, the 18% will come into play. Mine here is between around 5 and 8%.
Wow. Milton Keynes.
Oh, Milton Keynes is blinding, mate. Yeah, Milton Keynes is absolutely blinding. It's completely saturated by me, so don't come here. But
don't come to Berkshire. We're all right. We got our patches.
No, but I think it's like what you said, Peter. It's running the strategy that you know that is going to be busy. So my strategy is blue collar workers. That is everyone that's here. So I know that is 10,000 people here that potentially half of those want rooms. So I know my occupancy rate is going to be fairly low. And actually, during lockdown, we only had one person that couldn't pay full rent.
So, funnily enough, ditto, one person.
Yeah, one person that couldn't pay, did not pay the rent, but they couldn't pay full rent. And that was just one person. All the others paid.
Tenants' contracts, assuming there are associated costs. Oh, we give you all those anyway.
Yeah,
if you're working with us, we give you all the contracts, agreements, ASTs, everything. Oh, here we go from Steve Briggs. I've just signed up. Thank you so much, Justin. Really appreciate it. Can you guys source me properties? No, we won't need to source you properties. You've just signed up to the mentorship. We're going to teach you. Justin will teach you, we will teach you how to source your own properties, and then we'll also teach you how to sell on the properties you source but you don't want yourself. So you don't need to pay us or anyone else. We'll teach you how to do it yourself, right?
Good answer, mate. Good answer. However, Steve, if you let's say, for instance, you are in a massive full-time job or projects and you're worried that you don't have time, like Peter said, we will teach you how to find time. But if you don't, I have taught some of the best deal sources that you know, or I know, like Ravi, for instance, Ravi Gore that we just been speaking about. People like that will find you deals, and they will find you good deals, And the reason being is because they've all been trained by me and they know exactly what I expect out of a deal. So you would get nothing that lands in your email box that they wouldn't send to me and be embarrassed. Does that make sense? So yes, we will teach you, and ultimately that's where I want you to be, to teach you how to do it yourself. However, if it's going to take a little while for you to build your confidence up, I would rather that happen by you maybe having to get a deal sourcer like Ravi to help you out. So that's what we'd do. But at this point, I would try and teach you myself how to do it, so you don't have to pay these guys. But if you did, I'd put you in contact with the best deal sources there are.
Guys, there's 3 places left. If you want the mentorship for $495 for the only time it's ever going to be offered, there's 3 places left. So get on the link if you've got the link. If you can find the link, get on it now, or let us know you can't find it. Russell Atkin, if you only rent for 12 months, by the time you've bought it up to HMO standard, would there be any profit left?
Possibly, absolutely, and it all depends on the deal. So what was that gentleman's name?
Russell Atkin.
Russell, yeah, great, really good question, Russell, and it depends on the deal and the property. Generally, I try to get the profit out of the property within 6 to 7 months, and then we have 5 to 6 months of profit after that. Now, if you're earning £1,000 a month out of the property, let's say, and you've got 6 months of £1,000 or £6,000, would you walk away from that? Well, no, you wouldn't, because the likelihood is the landlord at the end of it is going to take. So the reason why I say, and bearing in mind, buddy, that the 12 months is not set in stone. Sometimes it's a good angle to get in there to get a property, because if you go to a landlord, and I go to Peter now, hi Peter, I love your property, I want to take it for 3 years. Now Peter doesn't know me, so he might turn around and say, no, I don't know, who are you? You know, what are you about, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if I have chance to show Peter what I'm about, he's more likely to give me that property for 12 months. And then on that, I can build. One of the things I make very, very clear before I take any property on. So, for instance, Russell, if someone says to me, oh no, we only want to let it for 12 months, then to be honest with you, I'd probably take what you said on the chair, on the chair, and actually think, do you know what, this is probably not for me. However, if someone turned around and said, oh no, this is a property that we brought for investment, you know, we want to let it out for a long period, then of course I would take that on, because I know the service that I provide, and I also know that they would renew to me at the end of it if I've done a good job. Now, if I haven't done a good job at the end of it, then that's my fault. That's my fault. I've messed up. So hopefully you can see where I'm saying it's not set in stone. It's just a way of dealing with some landlords that are a little bit. You might say, oh, Peter, look, I would like to let the property for 12 months. Is that something we can work with? And then they go, oh yeah, that's great. And then you can say, many of our landlords take our properties for 3 years. So you sow that seed. And then once you've sowed that seed, you might have Peter then come back and go, oh, you'd take it for 3 years, would you? Yeah. Is that something you'd be interested in? Yes, it is. Oh, is that something we can work with? Yes, it is. And that's how you go about and how you do it. So it's about laying the seeds, first of all, not just going in like a bull in a china shop. It's about laying the seeds, first of all, and setting your pathway out to the destination of where you want to go.
I've got a question for everyone now. How many of you want to have the option, if you want, to quit your job next year? Yes or no? How many of you want the option to be able to quit your job next year? How many of you want the option to do what you want, when you want, next year? Okay, you need to book the last 2 places on this mentorship, because that's the only way you're going to do it, and you will definitely do it, providing you listen to what Justin says. Right, I think the great challenge is finding an area with high rental demand. That's easy when you know how. Justin?
Yeah, absolutely. People do you know what? people make life too complicated, and they worry too much about trying to make
Right.
things work. But with the right knowledge and the right tools and the right skill set, many things that people believe are difficult is not difficult. So no, I don't see any issue with that. And likewise, with many of the students I've had, sometimes they believe their market doesn't work, but then when they uncover that they're actually looking at the wrong market themselves within the market they think is there. And sometimes it's a bit like the person that's looking for their sunglasses that are on their head. They'll never see it until someone else points it out to them. Any more?
So many more questions. Let's see.
There's a couple of overseas ones, Justin. They're asking how they could actually make it work in the UK. So we've got Rita's in Sweden, and there's another lady here as well. I think all I was going to suggest is they first need to understand it. So, learn.
So all these guys based in Sweden.
Yeah, there's a lady called Rita.
Yeah.
She's based in Sweden. Says how can she make it work?
Yeah, absolutely. And Rita, I have actually trained people, and a great question. And I've actually trained people in Sweden for rent to rent, and many of them have gone on to do rent to rent in this country from Sweden. And if you look, and I'm going to give you some names now, so you know that I'm not telling you lies. If you look up Daniel Woods and the Swedish Wealth Institution, I went over to Sweden about 3 years ago, and I done a great big training exercise with the Swedish 200 or 300 people, and I've done a big training exercise for the Swedish Wealth Institution, and many of those guys have gone on into property purchases here in the UK, and many of them do rent to rent here in the UK. So yes, it is absolutely possible by doing it remotely from Sweden here in the UK.
I just want to say, any estate agents out there, I think there's Lee as well. Oh my God, it's like being addicted to sweets and working in a sweet shop. You don't realise what's in front of you. I'm telling you, if you're working in an estate agency and you want to do rent to rent, my God, I would say within a month of working with Justin, you'll be on another level. So Lee, if you're still there, mate, I'm hoping we're going to see you soon. Right, let's go. So many more questions.
Peter, one of the things, Peter, that I can't get from estate agencies, you're one of the only estate agents I know, apart from me, that do investing. All estate agents sit on their hands going, oh, look at all these investors making money. Why aren't I making money? Why am I still getting paid by my boss? You're in a sweet shop.
I saw a gap in the market. I saw a gap in the market for investors being looked after properly. I saw a gap in the market for building our lettings business. And I'll be honest, my passion's away from that now. But you're right. I mean, we could go out there and we could double. If Justin and I went out there and worked with estate agents, we could double their turnover within 6 months.
God, yeah. Easy.
Madness, absolutely madness.
There's a lady
hello,
called
Janet and Paul from Kent. We're new to property business. Can we really get going in rent to rents, Justin?
Yes, you can. You're in Kent, yeah. I've got a couple of guys that are doing really well in that Kent region. Some are doing service accommodations. Most are doing the ones that are making the best profits are doing HMOs. But yeah, absolutely, can you do this? I think it's if you believe you can achieve, and that, I know that's you can hear that all the time. But if you believe you can achieve, if we took it many years back to when I was at school, and you tell the teachers that taught me back in that primary school of where I am now, they would go bollocks. That boy has done that. But I believed in myself, and the people around me believed in me. That was the most thing. Everyone around me believed that I wasn't this thick kid, and actually it turned out for me when I went in the forces that they identified that I wasn't thick, and it was actually not until the forces that I was identified as being dyslexic. It was growing up, I was always considered the troublemaker. Oh, look at him, he's thick, he's a troublemaker, he's always getting in trouble, the class clown, whatever. But that was just me trying to get out of the situation that I was in. And then it wasn't until I got into the forces that they realised that I was dyslexic. And they said, actually, you're not thick, you're not stupid, you're actually pretty intelligent, and you solve problems very, very quickly. So hence the reason why from the forces I was promoted to quite a special division within the forces, because I was very, very good at what I did, and I had a way of sorting, getting out solutions, out of problems, creating solutions for problems. So yeah, of course you can do it. If you believe you can do it, then you will. If you don't believe, then you won't. And my way of thinking, guys, is if you haven't got this already, you set a vision board up. It's exactly what I did. You remember I was saying that I'm in my dream house? Well, that house that I'm in now is, can I show the guys where I live?
Yes, please do.
Up to you.
All right, let's go.
Go for the toilet, Mark, so you take over.
So let's get some lights on. I'm not going to show you down. Let's have a look. Oh, you see the stairs, but there's the stairs. So there we go. I go out the gates. There you go. That's where I live, guys. Yeah. So you can see. Oops. I hope you would agree. That's pretty impressive. And that, one of my cars. That was my dream. That car's a bad boy. That's very, very fast. But that is the dream, guys, that I had. Go. So that was the dream, was to have that house. I put that on my vision board, and the thing is, when you believe something enough, it happens. When you are told something enough, it happens. When you tell yourself something enough, it happens. And I told myself enough that I was going to be successful, and I was going to be this, and I was going to be that, and I was going to live in a house like this. And yes, it's happened. I told myself I was going to have the heart, the cars that I want, the watches that I want, and it happened. It doesn't happen by chance. It happens because I made it happen and I took the action. And I think that's the key word there, action. So if you want this, guys, get on that link, and we'll see you next week on the first installment of the mentorship. If you are a true action taker and you really, really want this to happen, and you want a place like this, if you haven't already got one, then make it happen. But it's only you that's stopping yourself from making it happen, nobody else. You know, and you generally find this, that the people that make it happen will go and make it. The people that don't make it happen will blame everybody else for not making it happen.
Absolutely.
Now, I just showed you the house of where I live, and that is, you know, not many people will do that. Not many people will go on a webinar and show you where they live. And that is probably because most of them don't live in those type of places. I do. I live and breathe it. I walk the talk. I've got everything that I say I have. And it's all down to 20 years of hard work. But I'm happy to pass that on to you guys for a very cheap price and get you, you know, potentially on the road to success very quickly.
So just a quick one from, I think it's Suhib, is it? You're a doctor. So full-time doctor, is the course live or pre-recorded? It's a bit of both, Suib. So essentially, if you can't make the weekly call, then it's recorded. Okay. Everything else would be on the Facebook group, which you can obviously view at your leisure. But you get access to all the materials that are available. No, the call is run of an evening.
Yeah, it'll be of an evening. Yeah.
Of an evening. So hopefully you'll be able to make it. But I would suggest if you want to book tonight, because we've not got that many left, book tonight, and then you can view the stuff at your leisure if you can't make the call for some reason.
I just want to add to what Mark and Justin said. We do a 12-month mentorship pre-COVID and post-COVID, and it's sold out every time, and we charge 24 grand, and it's 12 months. 12 months, 24 grand, and it's an absolute bargain because everyone succeeds. We're doing this at 495 per month for 6 months, and you will make your money back in month 1 if you listen to what we tell you to do. And it's just an absolute no-brainer. And I'm just telling you now, if you don't sign up for this tonight, you'll never have the opportunity to do it again. We will never do it again. We can't do it again because we lose money. But it's because of the situation we're in, the circumstances we're in. We all want to give a bit back, and we want to help people. And that's from the training, the coaching, the advice. The Facebook group is invaluable. I mean, that's, for me, that's worth 5 grand at least.
Yeah, I think we undervalued that. Totally undervalued that.
Yeah.
Okay, another quick question. This is from Essie. She's still online. How much money does she need to start? How much does she need to start a rent-to-rent?
Okay, right. Essie, yeah?
Yeah.
So honestly, you don't need a penny if you don't have it, but you will need money. So you're thinking, what's he on about? Is the bloke drunk? No, I'm not. But you will need some money. However, you don't necessarily need your own money. If you are able to raise finance, you can borrow some money. You can get some money off people you know, friends and family, or other investors. One of the things that we will do on the mentorship, I will teach you how to raise finance. It won't be a long session. It will be a quick session of basically how to do raising finance at a smaller level to what I do. But generally, you don't need huge amounts of money. If you want to go alone, I would say between £5,000 and £7,000 will set you up nicely for a HMO. But bearing in mind that the idea is to get that money back within your first property and go from there. So you will receive that money back. But generally, Peter, how much are you spending? But I would say between 5 and 7 grand.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've got a few 5-beds I've done, which I've been able to set up for a couple of grand because I've spotted the right properties and we know what we're doing and we've got a good team that can go in really quickly. But Justin's right. 7 grand will do a really good quality 6-bedroom HMO. And what you've got to remember is you're on average between 3 and 5 years you're running these for. And within month 6, you're just making profit. And by month 12, you're thinking about quitting your day job. And that's just on one property. I mean, the money that can be made when you listen to the advice that we give is incredible. You can quit your day job. You can live the life you want. If you like your job, you can keep your job and your life becomes 10 times better. It's a game changer. It's a life changer. And it will never happen ever again. This opportunity will never happen again, honestly. The 4 of us working together, I mean, the 3 of us had to persuade Justin to come out of retirement. He only did it, to be honest, because he's so successful. He's sold his businesses, he's a bit bored, and he loves helping people. And, and he's a friend of ours. So we took advantage of that. And, Mark, Jackie and I, the reason we got together is because we like helping people. The only reason Justin is working with us is because he shares our philosophy. He wants to help as many people as possible. This is not about profit for us. We're not making profit out of this. We're feeling good about what we're doing. We're feeling good about helping as many people as we can. So, there's still 53 people in right now. All 53 of you should be signing up for this or asking us for an extension to sign you up so you can change your life. So please either click on the link now or you'll regret it forever, guys and girls, honestly.
So Tosin wants to know, what can she do as a beginner when an agent asks for proof of revenue from my corporate let company?
Okay, when they ask for proof, I don't personally. I've never been asked for proof.
Yep.
I don't know about you, Peter, but certainly I've never been asked for proof because it's not really them that does it. The referencing is normally done by an outsourced company. So you would actually be dealing with the outsourced company. So, like for instance, my letting agency done all the lettings referencing from LetSure and other means like this, which basically means that once you've paid your fee, which are non-applicable anymore, you have to then submit all your forms and information to the reference agency. Now, they might or may not ask for that. So it may be, to start with, that you PG it, you do it in your personal name to see how and get it through that way until you satisfy the agents that you can do this on your own. So that would be certainly the routes that I would go down, that you are able to PG it yourself to start with.
Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree.
A couple of you said the link's not working. Well, it is. I think you probably just mistyped it or clicked incorrectly because the orders are coming through. So just try again. So
Mark, do you want to put it back in so they can see it nice and fresh? And
it's
then
on the screen, but I'll retype.
Can you put it in the comment box, Mark?
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Yeah, and then they can just click straight on it.
What is the biggest number of units you've ever, as in the house?
Sorry, say again.
What is the biggest number of units you did, as in the house?
Okay, so deal.
Congratulations, Louis. Look forward to working with you. Well done, mate.
Well done. Congratulations.
That was the doctor we were talking to a second ago.
Let's make you some money.
Well done, bud. So the biggest unit I've had is a 16-bed. The biggest one that I have now is an 8-bed. Most of them between 5 and 6. I have a few smaller units which we call back-to-back. Back-to-back rent-to-rent is where you take a property and let's say it's worth £1,000. You offer the landlord and landlady 25%, let's say, less of the market price, which is £750, and then you re-rent it then back out to the council or another tenant for the full market price or an uplift. That's called a back-to-back model. So I have 2-bedroom flats like that and 3-bedroom houses like that, and that's called back-to-back. Now, if anyone also says, "Oh yeah, you back-to-back, that's a load of rubbish," well, if any of you look up a company called Northwoods,
yes,
Northwoods is the biggest back-to-back letting agency in the country, and that's all they do is back-to-back. They basically, rather than charging fees, they offer a percentage of the current market rent. Then they take it and normally they give it straight back to the local council, or they try and re-rent it out at a higher rate. And bearing in mind that some councils now are actually offering over market rent to get the properties. So back-to-back models can work really well. Now, you don't necessarily get the big turnover, as in profit margin, from the back-to-backs, but what you do get from back-to-backs is you can create volume as well. So Northwoods, for instance, and I'll give you an example of how a property business how a property business can be worth money, for instance. So Belvoir, Northwoods is a rental back-to-back rent-to-rent business ultimately, and from the back end of that, they built franchises. So so you're learning with me now, and let's say I had Northwoods was mine. When you brought in, I would then upsell you to a franchise of my company, which you could then run and do the same, and I would take a cut. So they built to multiple offices, and they actually sold out a few years back for 23 million. And someone told me that rent to rent, there was no money in it. So, yeah,
do you understand all the HMO legislation? Yes, HMO legislation changed in 2018, October. It was a good thing. It meant there was a level playing field. And what we would teach you is we teach you to go above and beyond legislation standards and how to achieve a quality beyond anything else in that marketplace. So whether it's Milton Keynes, Bracknell, Reading, Manchester, really doesn't matter. We look at the competition and we help you, and we teach you to find the niche that you need to be able to optimize the rent that you charge and the profit that you make. I'll give you an example. There's an area within Berkshire I work called Reading. Reading has been one of the best places to invest in the last 15 years. For the last two and a half years, it hasn't, but people are still investing there. And there's 1,500 rooms on the market, 1,500. We've got 46 in Reading, and our 46 are always the first ones to rent out, because we look at the 1,500 on the market. We don't get threatened by it. We look at them and we think, right, what are people not doing? And we offer a product that nobody else is doing. So our rooms always let first. So providing you know your market, providing your product is better than anything else, you will always rent your rooms out quicker, for more money, and easier than anybody else. So yes. If it's a 3 bedrooms, is it HMO? No, we mentioned it earlier. You don't need a HMO license if it's below 5 bedrooms. But Justin said he's got a couple of 4 beds as of high, but it's very difficult to make good profit on a 4 bed. Certainly a 3 bed is almost impossible to make good profit on.
Just a question from David, Peter.
Oh, I can't see that one. You go for it.
Well, he says, Pete, any chance of an extension until I complete on the house? Please, Dave.
David, you're a mate. No. This is only an offer for tonight. But yeah, David, message me, and if we can get you on the mentorship, we will. I know you're a talented guy. I know you're committed to what you do. And I know Mark and Justin would like you. So message me. If there's anything we can do to work with you, we will. Good. Is it 6 months you pay for? Claire, it's only $495 a month. Okay, we're that confident on the service and knowledge and information that we give you. After month 1, if you're not happy, then you don't have to continue. But we've never had anyone not continue. So it's only $495 a month. That is for Justin to mentor you. You get the rest of the PMA team, me, Mark, and Jackie. You get over 15 grand's worth of freebies. You get any agreement, any information you need. You get all the letters that we have. I mean, I could talk all night about what you get, but I mean, we've been through it. You get the idea. Only tonight, $495. Go to the link and click it on it now. Okay.
So Russell, I mean, $7 grand to get an HMO ready. I mean, that's going to be kind of top end. Does it include the furniture? Yeah.
Yeah. That Russell, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Russell. Yeah, top end. One of the things that I am as a trainer and as a mentor and just someone who likes to inspire people, I'll never overcook something and make it, you know, I'll tell you what it is, whether you like to hear it or whether you don't. So, you know, some people will say, oh, you can get in for this. You know, like Peter said, some HMOs have cost me more than 7,000, you know, where, and this is not rent to rent, but ones I've owned where I've had to take them on, do them up, you know, some have cost, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds. However, with rent to rent, probably the most expensive one I've ever had to do would be about £7,000. What's the cheapest one that I've done? Well, about 1,600. And that was a fully licensed HMO that come ready prepared, and all I had to put in it was furniture, and it cost me around 1,600 quid. And how did I get that? Well, I got that from the HMO list. It's one of the things that we will be teaching you how to do and how to make that work absolutely brilliantly. You know, I have a barrage of information going out to the HMO list every single week. It's part of my team's job to be doing that. And when we got one of those properties on, and it was a very quick turnaround. It was already licensed. It was already because it was pre-Article 4, so it already had the planning in place, or retrospective planning in place. So it was pre-Article 4. We didn't have to worry about those, and therefore we just, you know, sailed through, and all we had to do was put new furniture in.
Just a quick relevant question. I just want to bring it up. In Brighton, you need a license for 3 bedrooms. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You do. The majority of areas in the UK, above 4 bedrooms, you need a license. But there's Brighton, Leeds, and a couple of other places where if you have any amount of bedrooms in the HMO, you need a license. And just to let you know, eventually you'll need a license just to rent property. And we're teaching you in a way where you're going to have no problem getting a license wherever you invest, and it will just be a formality. So that doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. But yeah, a really good point there. Thank you for bringing that up. How much would you pay for a rent-to-rent sourcer? Yeah, we touched on this earlier. Justin mentioned it as well, but we'll teach you to source your own properties. Okay, that's the beauty of working with us. You'll save thousands.
I'll answer that as well, mate. Well, put it this way: you're going to be spending £495 per month on mentorship, where we will teach you how to do this yourself. If you want to buy a source deal, it will generally cost you between £3,000 and £5,000 to buy one deal. So just think about that, guys. Actually, this price is pretty good, considering I'm going to teach you how to source deals yourself and how to source deals that you could potentially sell on for £3,000 or £4,000 that will pay for this mentorship over and over.
Would this work in London, Rububi? Rent to rent will work anywhere. We'll teach you how to know the market. We'll teach you how to know your customer base, and we'll teach you how to do it. Rent to rent will work anywhere in the UK. Okay, it will be different in different areas. The approach will be different. The tenant type might be different. The property might be different. But rent to rent will work anywhere in the UK. So if any of you have any doubts in your mind because you don't think it will work near you or in your area, it will. Any questions I've missed, Mark?
I'm just looking through because quite a few, isn't there? But I mean, a lot of
There's
them
still
comment.
46 of you here. Guys, you're running out of time. We've got to go soon. We're going to have to stop asking questions. Get involved. Book your place. Click on the link now.
Okay, so David, we've got to speak tomorrow.
Stop making some money.
Yep,
For those people who want to know about London as well, if you have a look, there's a website and it's called London Shared. London Shared is promoted by the guy off Location. Phil, what's his name? Phil someone?
Yeah, I know you mean. Yeah. Can't think. Yeah.
Yeah, Philip someone. He's promoted by. Sorry?
Works with Kirsty.
That's it, yeah. So it's
Oh,
promoted by. Sorry?
I like Kirsty.
Yeah. So yeah, Phil someone, and he's promoted by those guys off Location, and it's called London Shared. They have one of the biggest portfolios of shared houses all on rent-to-rent basis in central London. Now, they spend an absolute fortune on their houses, but you look at their room rates, they're absolutely monstrous. You know, for one of their rooms down there.
Sorry, mate. Congratulations, Bradley. Welcome on board.
Hi,
well done, Bradley.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. What's this? Can you send me a list of these people that are doing it, Mark, so I can message them tomorrow on Facebook or something and say, well done.
Yeah, we'll do.
Last couple of questions and we've got to go. So your time is almost up. If you're considering it, make your money now. Click on the link quickly.
I can't believe there's still 43 people hanging on.
I know. Amazing.
Come on, guys. Make a decision. Sign up or not. I'm sure you want to go to bed tonight.
We've got to go. Make a decision. Do you want to make money? Do you want to quit your day job? Do you want to buy whatever you want whenever you want? Do you want your time to yourself? I don't know. But if you do, click on the link now, please.
I'm not going to give you another tour of the house.
Lewis, so the sessions are in the evening, but you've already signed up, haven't you, Lewis? Yeah.
Good one, Lewis. See you soon, my friend.
Yeah, so it's in the evening, isn't it? So it's good for me. It's good for you guys. If some of you are at work, any times for me. I don't really have a day job anymore. So and hopefully you guys will have that same feeling soon, that you can do what you want when you want.
I'm just going to put it out there. You don't realise how lucky you are. Luckily to work with me, Mark and Jackie, but my God, Justin, you're never going to meet a more successful, more caring, better coach than Justin. And he's come out of retirement because he likes me, Mark and Jackie, and he wants to help people. There's 39 people left on here. Every single one of you should be biting this guy's arm off because he's going to change your life. He's going to make you a lot of money. And he's going to make you happy. And he's going to help you fulfill what you want to achieve personally in life. So 2 minutes and we've got to go. Yeah. 39 of you still here. Click on the link now. We've got to go. Someone's just left me their number for any human. Is that for me?
Huh? Telephone number. That's for I'll speak to you tomorrow. That's for me.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, I don't get many invites like that now.
you got to have a bit of fun on the way to making money, haven't you? You've got to.
Yep.
Right, 39 of you. We've got to go. Click on the link. One more question. Has anyone got one more question before we go?
One more question.
Once we go, that's it. You will never get this opportunity again. Click on the link. Click on the link. Click on the link.
Any more questions out there, guys?
I think that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to your coaching. Thank you.
Awesome.
Can I pay for this tomorrow? No.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Good. Well done. We've got another one. Another one in. Congratulations. Time for action. Yes, it's time for action. Well done. Well said. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's been our pleasure.
Yep. Speak to you in the morning, Crystal Lee.
Can one do rent to rent there in London? Of course you can. We will teach you how. Last minute, guys. Come on, and girls. Who wants to be financially free? Who wants to succeed in this rent to rent business? Come on, sign up. Speak in the morning, Christy. Yeah, you're speaking to Mark.